Senzo Mchunu did nothing for Zulu. Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia says Minister Senzo Mchunu did nothing out of the ordinary when he instructed for the Political Killings Task Team to be disbanded. Sibia defended Mchunu, saying the disbanding of the task team was a lawful instruction and a political decision. He says it's the minister's space to decide on how he reduces crime and that ministers should be hands-on even on operational matters. Last night, Sibia concluded his 2-day testimony before the Police Ad Hoc Committee in Parliament investigating police corruption.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a lawful instruction because the minister who is the boss of the National Commissioner, if you come up with something like that, that says, I don't think this thing is still needed anymore, let's change direction, let's take this other direction. It happened before many times, even Minister Teller's time, it happened before many times. So it happens.
Private forensic investigator Calvin Rafadi says he's been unfairly implicated at the Madanga Commission of Inquiry without any evidence or credible proof that demonstrates corruption or criminality. Yesterday, messages between Rafadi and attempted murder accused Vusmuzi Matlala were read before the commission. A series of WhatsApp texts downloaded from Matlala's cell phone were shared as part of evidence from an anonymous witness labelled as Witness X. Oren Singh reports.
Messages between Vusimusi Matlala and private forensic investigator Calvin Rafadi show how Rafadi on several occasions requested money from Matlala for fuel, rent and institutional fees. Reading from Witness X's statement, Madanga Commission evidence leader, Advocate Adila Hasim.
Mr. Rafadi makes repeated requests for assistance with petrol and other help. Mr. Rafadi returns the favors by contributing to a media narrative that suits Mr. Matlala regarding the PKTT.
In a written reply to EWN, Rafadi refuted the allegations, claiming they are being driven by fictional narratives and rogue elements within crime intelligence who are hell-bent on silencing him because he has consistently highlighted their failure to act proactively in the fight against crime. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says he met alleged tender fraudster Hangwani Maumela during one of his regular morning walks. Ramaphosa explained to the National Council of Provinces yesterday that Maumela's Sandhurst home just happens to be on his walking route. But he says he also revealed that his first wife, Hope Mudau, is Maumela's aunt. Maumela made headlines last week after the Special Investigating Unit raided his home to seize luxury cars and artwork believed to be the proceeds of ill-gotten gains siphoned from the Tembisa hospital. Lizzie Dentlinker reports.
Yesterday, President Ramaphosa quipped that he planned to write a book about his walking escapades, since stopping and posing for pictures and videos was causing the rumour mill to go into overdrive. He said while he was often curious about the construction of the mansion on Oxford Avenue when he passed by, he had no idea who it belonged to until Hangwani Maumela came out of his house last year and introduced himself to Ramaphosa, who was on one of his regular morning walks.
And I say, so you are the Maumela who is putting my name into disrepute. And he smiles away. And now I've encountered this person and I walk away.
Ramaphosa says some months later, Maumela again came out of the house while he was passing by and asked him to meet his mother, who turned out to be one of Ramaphosa's high school acquaintances. Ramaphosa went on to explain that later he learned his ex-wife's brother married his school friend and Hangwani is their son. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And the president has joined the rest of the country in celebrating Bafana for qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The team won 3-0 over Rwanda last night at Mbombela Stadium in Mpumalanga, ending their 15-year wait to participate in one of the world's mostly viewed sporting events. Ramaphosa says South Africa will support the team all the way.
Well done, well done. This is exciting. Wow, World Cup, here we come.
Gold is trading at $4,138.83 an ounce. The rand is at 17.33 to the dollar, 23.14 to the pound, 20.14 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.32 a barrel.
There's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N1 North. This is between the N12 exit and the Deep Kloof interchange due to a major accident scene involving a pedestrian. Please be on the lookout there and expect about a 20-minute hold-up. If you can, try to use the Golden Highway as an alternative through areas like Devnet as well as Meredale while traveling on the N1 South, leaving Midrand. We've got another accident scene reported just before the Baklu interchange, delays coming out of Islandale Road.
And in your sport,
the collective anxiety of a nation evaporates. The long wait is over. Bafana are going to the World Cup next year. Well, they had to do it the hard way. Hamstrung by their own federation.
Bafana beat Rwanda 3-0 to book their place in the USA. And the Proteas resumed day 4 on 51-2, still needing a further 226 to beat Pakistan in the first test.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated afternoon thunder showers expected. Johannesburg starting at 15 degrees, peaking at 32. Pretoria 17 and 34. Vereeniging 17 as well, and a high of 32 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia says Minister Senzo Mchunu did nothing out of the ordinary when he instructed for the political killings task team to be disbanded.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Eight minutes after 6 o'clock, welcome to 702 Breakfast. It is a brand new day. It's the 15th of October, the year of our Lord 2025. It's a Wednesday. It's the morning after the night before. 2 Pirates goals sending Bafana to the World Cup. 3 Pirates goals, beg your pardon. 3 Pirates goals sending.
Don't divide the nation.
Bafana.
Please. Not now.
You know what I did? I tweeted, I think it was like 2-0. I said, CIA France. And then I said, if you know, you know. And someone had to come out and say, that was 1998, Bongani. Right?
Siaya.
It's Philip. Welcome.
Siaya.
Welcome one, welcome all, welcome to the show. Did you watch the game last night? I'm here for all your congratulatory messages. What an exciting football evening. Nigeria did the things, the Super Eagles. And of course, Bafana didn't leave it in anyone's hands. They left no room for doubt. 3-0 was the emphatic score, and we are celebrating. So much to look at this morning. We'll keep you up to date with what's happening in Madagascar. Part of why that matters is, of course, they're meant to be the ones with the roving SADC presidency. And so with the vacuum of leadership there, what will that mean for the region? And then we must have an honest conversation about the South African Police Service.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We need to have an honest conversation about the South African Police Service, because you might be as confused as I am. If you've been listening to the testimony of the National or the Deputy National Commissioner for SAPS, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibia, appearing before Parliament this week, you might not know whether you are coming or going, right? And it really is quite extraordinary. I mean, as you just heard in Eyewitness News, he says, in fact, the minister was fully entitled to get into operational matters and tell us what to do. If he saw that things weren't going in a particular direction, he was fully entitled to change things as he saw fit, which of course is completely not the minister's mandate. He has to provide policy overview. He doesn't get involved in operational matters for the simple reason that he's not a policeman. He's not a police officer. He's not a policing expert. Is he? Have a listen to the suspended National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibia, appearing before Parliament. This was on Monday, where the evidence leader Norman Arendse questioned him about his links to businessman Vusumuzi Cat Matlala.
What I know is that Mr. Matlala is a well-known person in the service, in the police. As you can see at some point right from the minister downward.
Let's talk about you, General.
I'm just saying, you ask, the honorable member asked a question whether is there a general practice in the police. Now, I'm saying it is a general practice in the police because it's a service provider, it's a stakeholder. Whether you're talking about Old Mutual, you're talking Metropolitan, you're talking about many other, they, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, they find themselves in the same space. They are known to each other. That is why they gave him a tender to operate in the college where the National Commissioner is. And there was no problem that the National Commissioner saw himself on Mr. Matala there. There was no issue because at that point in time, nobody knew about Mr. Matala's involvement in any crime.
That was his explanation of his association with Vusumuzi Cat Matlala, who is, of course, now linked to all sorts of criminality. I mean, there were a couple of moments yesterday which were really quite extraordinary. The Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibia, saying yesterday to Parliament's ad hoc committee that the removal of those dockets from the political killings task team in KZN was necessary because it had achieved what it had set out to do. And then he couldn't answer the question about where the dockets might be now.
Where are the 21 dockets, 121 dockets?
Where are they?
Now, yes.
They are.
I'm asking from the custodian now.
They are I take it that they will be with the political killing task team project manager.
Why were they taken? Okay. Where are the 21 dockets, 121 dockets?
Where are they?
Now, yes.
They are.
I'm asking from the custodian now.
They are I take it that they will be with the political killing task team project manager.
Why were they taken?
They were taken, brought by them to be taken to where they needed to be taken to, which is the specialized unit, murder and robbery unit, which is mandated to investigate political killing task team. That what they are investigating as a task team, in fact, belongs to murder and robbery unit. They are just a separate structure that is running outside the structure.
Do you understand what he's saying? They were taken by them to them that they're investigating there. Have you seen the number of TikToks now people are making with this audio? It's becoming like the pots. Do you remember the pots? She made the pots to do the things that the pots needed to do, what the pots... Perhaps this was the most telling moment when he was questioned by the MKP party MP Vusi Shongwe, asking about a letter talking about Sibia's competency and whether or not he'd failed a competency assessment. So the question here fundamentally is, Sibia, did you pass this thing or did you not?
Let me say it was not possible. It's a document where they say to you, it's an exercise where they say to you, there's no right or wrong answer. This is just to look at your character and whether you are a strong person and which character you are. You don't really even need to spend time on this thing because there's no way you will get this thing right to say you are right or wrong. So I wrote what I wrote and the result came the way they came and say, you can be suitable here and not here. That is what happened.
Why pass on the fail?
Well, I don't. It doesn't say you failed it like it's a. It's like whether you passed. What do you call it? Let me say it was not positive.
Why pass on the fail?
Okay, let me say I fail.
Okay.
Hey, make of that what you will. We'll be speaking to Lizette Lancaster as our big interview today, just looking at the organizational mess that is the South African Police Service.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
The other question, of course, that we're asking this morning is our shout out. And our shout out is usually a question that applies to your life, but actually is symbolic of something that we think we should be discussing that is big in the news cycle. So, Muteo and Amo, my colleagues with me here in the studio, here's a question for you. Have you ever been saddled with baggage simply because you are associated with somebody? Now, this could be a friendship where someone you know is in the local news for all the wrong reasons, and the local news being your street or your wider circle of friends, right? It could be a family feud that has nothing to do with you, but because you are related to one side, you are catching strays. Have you ever been associated or saddled rather with baggage because of your association with someone? Remember when you were a kid and they told you don't go play at that house? And you're like, but and the food at that house is so nice.
I was about to say
They've got a TV. They've got a video. Yeah? And you're told you can't go play at that house. And so you sneak. Have you, as a kid, did you ever go sneak
and they
to
had
go
the
play
bad
next
snacks
door?
at that house.
Hey,
or the child had a
hey.
video game that you didn't.
And then they say the mother of that house is a witch. And you're not allowed to go play there. And you're just thinking, what on earth are you talking about?
And their food is delicious.
And their food is delish. Have you been saddled with somebody else's baggage simply because of your association with them, Mutero?
Yeah, I had a friend, Ubongs. Bongs was a very naughty
Wow.
child.
Did it have to be a bongs?
Yeah, but it's a true story.
You couldn't say Tepo.
Not his real name. No, Bongs was very, very...
The characters in the story have been changed. Any identification with real persons?
So my mom made me promise not to play with him, but obviously I would just do my own thing, and we're still friends today because I mean he grew out of it, but he was very, very mischievous. You know, I remember I came back from school one day and he had, I think, stolen someone's phone and it became a big thing. But now I'm telling you, bongs, and it was like the community was coming at me, and I was like, no, I haven't seen that guy the entire day. But man, I'm glad he's grown out of it.
Yeah, that's the thing about bongs is.
Oh, now you want to be your bongs.
Hey? You can't let us go.
Oh my goodness.
Amo?
Well, we had a similar situation growing up where we were told never to play at a certain boy's house, right? But playing with him was so fun because he was so energetic. He was so lively. It was actually fun playing with him, but we would go either way to play. And we would trick my mom that, okay, by 4:30, we should go back home because she will be walking up the road anytime soon. So she doesn't see us walking up. We should make sure that we leave before she comes up. Never, no.
You're caught now. She's listening.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
We're asking this question in light of the president and indeed the presidency and their denials around the president's relationship with this man, Hangani Maumela. This is, of course, the tenderpreneur who is at the center of the Tembisa hospital looting. And there's a video out with the president walking. He says he was just on a walkabout in his neighborhood. He's seen this fancy house before, and he is stopped by passers-by to take photographs. And one thing leads to another. The owner of the house is around, comes and says hello. And that was his only association with this man. And that's, of course, when he found out who he was and what their connection to him was. Do you accept the explanation that the president has given? I'll play you one or two clips there, and we'll talk more about being saddled with somebody else's baggage simply by association.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the
20
talk.
after 6. Mateo, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, are you addicted to online shopping, especially of big companies like Temu and Shein? Do you have carts to clear? You can be honest. We won't judge.
I had a delivery this week. I had a delivery
Something
last
nice.
week. Had a delivery this week. Had a delivery last week.
The week before. What are you getting?
It's
like
possible.
gadgets, clothes? What are you getting?
I can't tell
Maybe it's something you need, and now we can't judge you.
Yeah.
Make up something.
It's stuff I wear every day.
Okay.
But stuff you will never see.
Okay, thank you, Bongs.
You pushed me.
I used to clear my cart every month last year. So come the 25th of the month, I would just clear.
They've got really great underwear.
But now I'm a big girl, so
Take your word for
I
it.
haven't cleared my cart at all. It's still hanging. It's still waiting.
You've changed your ways.
I have indeed. I have.
I'm gonna be like Amo when I grow up.
So now you just window shop online and you don't
And I
finish
say,
the
oh,
transaction.
I really like this. I really like that. And I show it to my husband. Have you seen this? Have you seen that? Then he's just like, And then it ends there.
When I grow up, I'll be like Amo.
702.
Weather.
Partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Isolated afternoon thunder showers expected, but it will be a little warmer. Vereeniging and Joburg peaking at 32 degrees. Pretoria 34. Johannesburg, Cape Town is 22, and it's the same for East London and Durban.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand.
Well, Bongani, if you're traveling from Soweto, Eldorado Park, Devlin, and Naturena areas towards Southgate, please do be on the lookout. There's a huge traffic volumes along this route. This is due to that major earlier accident that happened with a pedestrian as a result of about a 40-minute hold up. If you can, try to use the Golden Highway towards areas like Meadale as well as Southgate, and then rejoin the M1, N1 North from then on. If you're traveling coming out of Eldorado Park, do expect about a 20-minute hold up towards the N1 exit. And then while on the N1 South in the Waterfall area, another accident has been reported. This one is right near the Baklu interchange. Delays from Islandale Road. You can use Islandale Road towards Waterfall if you want to avoid the scene. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a work commuter. She's done this route 1,000 times. Perhaps she's daydreaming of a different job or just counting down to the weekend. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just another car in traffic. It's anticipation on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
If this ad caught your ear, imagine what Prime Media can do for your business. With SA's leading media company, your message reaches the right audience across radio, digital audio, video, and display. The Prime Impact Sales Event is coming to Joburg, 3 to 7 November, and Cape Town, 10 to 13 November. Register today for a free demo commercial, a custom campaign, and unbeatable annual partnerships. Seats are limited. Secure yours now at primeimpact.co.za.
People are talking, everybody's talking, and they're saying it's time to make insurance great again. They said our low premiums were fake news. Wrong. We're putting customers first. We're going to drain the insurance swamp. It's full of hidden fees. But when we clean it up, believe me, it's going to be huge.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision people are saying ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like her insurance.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Confirmation from the Reserve Bank that South African companies currently have 1.8 trillion rand in cash. Effectively, that's money that could be invested in expanding their companies and thus making bigger profits.
The destruction of infrastructure in South Africa, but also the lack of strong political center, given that, there is no definite developmental agenda, given that we've got a government of national unity.
Dr. Lumkile Mondi.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA Corporate and Investment Banking, proud sponsor of the ABSA Africa Financial Markets Index 2025. The insights to guide you through Africa's financial landscapes are waiting for you. ABSA is an authorized FSP and a registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Hi, morning Bongani and team. You know what? You'll end up thinking that you are the one who don't understand what General Sibia was being asked. You end up being confused. Hi, Lobab. This is Prince from Mabopane.
Top of the morning, Mr. Bingwa and the team, the 702 lenders. You forgot one question that was asked again. What is an activist? My God, he fumbled. It's in Paul from Rustenburg.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Scary thing, Paul from Rustenburg, is this is meant to be our country's number 2 cop. Just think about that. My sense of Masimula was that he's just weak, right? Glennis Breitenbach saying he's too nice. This guy, yeah, I can't even add allegedly. I'll be sued for what I think. Let's talk about other issues in the news. Days of protest at the University of the Free State mean its Kwakwa campus has been shut down with immediate effect. In fact, the other campuses have also been shut down, the Bloemfontein and South campuses, until further notice. There's a curfew that's been imposed from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. to maintain order. And this is all about fights around the SRC. Heading now to the Pretoria Regional Court, where a new presiding officer will hear arguments from crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo and his 2 co-accused as they seek to have their bail conditions relaxed. Khumalo, along with 2 others, Precious Madondo and Josiah Slikalakala, are asking the court to amend their bail terms so they can return to work. The trio is implicated in a fraud and corruption scandal. Venezuela has shut down its embassy in Oslo just days after opposition leader Maria Corina Machado was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. In a press release, the foreign ministry explained that the closure is part of a diplomatic realignment aimed at reallocating resources to focus on the global south. Of course, Oslo is in Norway, and that's where the Nobel Peace Prize is awarded from. Listen to this. According to statistics, 1 in 3 South Africans will experience a mental health challenge in their lifetime. And they even go to say, so far as to say 9 out of 10 people living with mental illness lack access to treatment. This is from the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, SADAG, urging everyone to take part in combating both mental illness and the stigmas around it. And Missy Elliott, Beyonce and Jill Scott joined countless others in paying tribute to D'Angelo. Born Michael Eugene Archer, he passed away yesterday at the age of 51.
702.
The newspapers.
D'Angelo passing away yesterday at the tender age of 51. You'll remember, of course, he was formerly in a relationship with the musician what's her name?
Angie Stone.
Angie Stone. My mind just completely went blank. They have a son together, and she passed away earlier this year. So can you imagine that child has lost both his parents in the same year? Rest in peace, D'Angelo. Swisa Zulu, the newspapers. There you are.
Good morning, Bongani. Are you a chocolate fan, Bongani?
I am.
Yeah, you're lucky because you're not in America, because there's going to be Halloween this year, but unfortunately, it seems like fewer chocolate treats are going to be handed out because the price of cocoa has more than doubled since the beginning of last year, creating unease among those trick-or-treaters. You know, when the kids go trick-or-treating, where they knock on doors and they wear their costume and they go trick-or-treat, you have to give them those treats. Most of those treats are chocolates, but this year it seems because of the prices of chocolates going up, there's going to be fewer chocolate candy being handed out to those children.
Oh, poor American kiddies, hey? That's all they needed with a president like that. Front page of the Business Day, 8 out of 10 businesses in the informal sector are unregistered. That's according to a Standard Bank survey. And the Sowetan Siaya America celebrating Bafana's 3-0 win over Rwanda. And of course, the same picture really as far as the Citizen is concerned. Oswin Apollos celebrating after scoring the second goal during Bafana's FIFA World Cup triumph.
EWN Business.
How many items in your cart? What will it take for you to clear it? Are you addicted to online shopping? Mateo wants to know. What prompts the question?
7.3 billion rand. That's the sheer size of sales Chinese online stores Temu and Shein have bagged in the South African market. Research done by the Localization Support Fund shows that the two giants are gaining serious market share in Mzansi. The number of South African customers is now comparable to that of Checkers 6060, which has over 5 million customers. The aggressive, low-cost business model of these operators has upended retail sectors globally. Temu and Shein's dominance accounts for nearly 4% of the total clothing retail market in South Africa and 37% of the sector's e-commerce sales. Now, the National Consumer Commission says it will conduct a probe into e-commerce sites operating in South Africa, including popular sites like Temu and Shein. The Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Pakstau, says the study will look into the deceptive practices, the quality and the safety of products.
Basically order now before they act. Where's the rand?
17 Rand 33 against the US dollar, stronger this morning at 20 Rand 13 cents against the euro and at 23 Rand 13 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $4,185 an ounce, it's up more than 1%. Platinum at $1,647. Brent crude at $62.08 a barrel. More business after 7.
Straight to the news desk we go. Last week we were focusing on Fort Hare. What's happening in the Free State, Fisa Zulu?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Well, the University of the Free State has suspended all academic activities following a student protest at 3 of its campuses. Students started protesting about 2 weeks ago after the institution announced that people with outstanding debt would not be able to register to study next year. The management says only academically qualifying students will be fully registered once their fees or funding have been confirmed. But the institution insists that the policy does not affect students funded by NSFAS. Some buildings were torched at Kwakwa campus on Monday after protesting students blocked roads. University spokesperson Lesia Loda says management has reached out to student leaders.
The university's Executive Management Committee has extended an invitation to the student representative councils of the 3 campuses for continued engagement on the issues that have led to the protests.
The city of Tshwane says it's not giving up on its fight to impose a cleansing levy, saying it will be approaching the Supreme Court of Appeal. The Metro introduced the levy in July this year, charging customers who use private waste collection services a 194 Rand a month tariff. But lobby group AfriForum took the Metro to the Pretoria High Court, where the levy was ruled as unlawful. The municipality subsequently applied for leave to appeal the decision, but that was also rejected. Tabiso Goba reports.
Despite the city cleansing levy being ruled unlawful by the courts, some residents in Tshwane are still being billed for it. The levy affects about 250,000 residents and businesses who use private waste collection services instead of the one provided by the city. Speaking at an event yesterday, Tshwane Mayor Nasipi Moya says the capital is taking its fight to the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein.
And the reason why we need to do so, because the city has a bylaw where the city cleansing levy is a levy that we are allowed to levy as the city.
Moya says the striking down of the levy doesn't affect the city's funded budget status, as the 278 million rand surplus revenue it was expected to generate was not allocated any expenditure. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
In Cape Town, Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis has refuted a statement by President Cyril Ramaphosa that the city cannot claim to be the best run metro when the standard of services in its townships remain poor. Ramaphosa was briefing the National Council of Provinces yesterday on national developments and service delivery matters. The president told the NCOP census data shows that Cape Town performed the worst between 2011 and 2022 in providing services to the city's disadvantaged communities. Hill-Lewis says the president was doing damage control after his recent comments about Cape Town and other towns governed by the DA being examples to be copied by other metros. Carlo Peterson reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa told the NCOP while the city of Cape Town tends to perform well with financial governance, it has not demonstrated significant progress in reducing the levels of inequality and is spending less in poorer communities than in affluent areas. Hill-Lewis hit back, saying Cape Town not only spends more on pro-poor infrastructure than any other metro, the city also has the highest levels of service delivery in the country.
The simple, irrefutable fact is that despite the enormous challenges of poverty and unemployment we face, Cape Town is steadily moving forward and is South Africa's most functional metro city, while every other city in the country is moving backwards.
Hill Lewis says Cape Town will invest an estimated 3.4 billion rand in informal settlement upgrades over the next 3 years. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And at least 14 miners have died in floods caused by heavy rain in Venezuela. Disaster relief agencies and military say they are working to recover the bodies from a gold mine in the eastern part of the country. The workers were underground when heavy rain fell on the region, which borders both Guyana and Brazil, flooding several mine shafts. Videos posted on social media show workers bringing up several muddied bodies from the mine. It's not clear whether the mine is operating legally or illegally. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 15 and 17 degrees, peaking at highs between 32 and 34.
Traffic remains congested along the N12, the N1 towards Diepkloof. This is due to a major accident scene. Please be on the lookout there. Traffic is also heavily backed up already on the alternative, which is the Golden Highway towards Southgate as well as Meredale. Please do expect about a 30-minute hold-up or even 40 minutes hold-up along this gridlock. While traveling on the N1 South, we've got another accident scene reported in the Waterfall area. It's right near the Baklu interchange, delays from New Road.
The top story, the University of Free State has suspended all academic activities following a student protest.
702. Serving the 702 family in 702 land, including those of you in Henley on Klip. Henley on Klip, south of Johannesburg, is located on the banks of the Klip River. The village was established in 1904 by Horace Kent, the area reminding him of his hometown in England, Henley on Thames. Henley on Klip is home to the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls, providing education and opportunities for young women. 702. Let's walk the talk across 702 land, including Henley on Klip.
54-year-old Amos isn't one to miss out on a bargain, so when OUTsurance gave him a premium of only 1,004 Rand a month for his 2024 GWMP series, it was a no-brainer. And so 55-year-old Andre jumped on the deal when OUTsurance gave him a premium of just 776 Rand a month for his 2024 Toyota Urban Cruiser. Get ready to get more out of your car insurance and SMS out to 45142 today. So that's out to 45142. OUTsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Huawei Watch GT6 Series, 2025's must-have smartwatch, introducing the king of power. Up to 21 days of unstoppable battery life in a sleek titanium and ceramic design that's as strong as it's stylish. The Trackmaster with 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep monitoring, advanced health management, and the world's first cycling virtual power feature. Fully compatible with both iOS and Android. Get yours now from just 169 Rand a month over 36 months or 4,999 Rand at selected retailers. T's and C's apply.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil. It's a global moment of solidarity, equality, and sustainability. Africa is at the center. And on Friday, between 6 and 9 a.m., you can listen to the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702 Breakfast. And it's brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. So we'll give you the latest news, the views, the insights, and breakthroughs. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongs. On the president's speech, I don't believe that he didn't know the oak or the person. I think that was rehearsed for quite some time. That's why it took so long to respond. I think his advisors gave him a lengthy speech to actually go through and make it sound and make it catchy, and so we can buy it. But I'm not buying it. Thank you, David J.
Well, David, let's listen to the president's own explanation on this. He confirms that he knows the alleged Chembi's Hospital corruption kingpin, Bongani Bingwa, but he only met him after a chance encounter outside the man's house in 2024.
Now, in 2024,
So it should be known, because Mr. Magwenya only focused on this photograph. In 2024, I am walking on that same street, and a person comes out of this house and he greets me. And as I often meet people, I ask them, "Who are you?" He says, "I am Hangwani Maumela." And that's how he introduces himself to me. And I say, "So you are the Maumela who is putting my name into disrepute." And he smiles away. And now I've encountered this person, and I walk away, and I walk to my home.
So that was their first meeting. What happens is there's a radio DJ called Thibaut Touch who drove up past the president as he was on a regular walk, because, you know, that kind of thing just happens in South Africa. You bump into the president on his walk, you get out of the car, you greet him, you take selfies outside Hangwani Maumela's house. Hangwani Maumela sees the president doing this, comes out and, you know, greets him and makes himself known. And the president at that point said that was their only encounter. They did meet again, where he then says he now, at that point, confronted him about the allegations facing him. But he'd been married to this man's relative and divorced him 43 years before. I think Hangwani was 10 years old when he got divorced to this relative. And so he says, "I had nothing to do with this man."
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, were you watching this moment last night? AG, this particular moment?
The rugby team are World Cup champions, and you are rather rugby championship winners. What can the football team do? Apollos took his eye off the ball just for a moment. Morena resets it to Apollos. Oh, it's brilliant! It's absolutely brilliant! Oswin Apollos, formerly from Polokwane City, now a Buccaneer. He gets his 4th international goal on his 18th appearance. And South Africa are sailing to the land of Uncle Sam.
Why are we making the national team's victory about Orlando Pirates?
Because
they're now Buccaneer player.
The 3 goals came from players of which team?
Those were 3 of the most superb goals I've actually seen in football in a while. It wasn't even like it fumbled over the line, or there was a scramble, or it was when that first goal went in, Talent and Better. I was like,
cracking goal.
Holy wow. And remember yesterday you said to me, it's halftime, Cindy. Well, no, it's 15 minutes before kickoff. What are you saying to Bafana? And I went, yeah, ne? Last night when that final whistle went, I went, yeah, ne? They've done it. They've qualified for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. I mean, there's some kids in high school who've never seen Bafana at a World Cup.
So you know what I did? I tweeted yesterday, CIF France. And then I said, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But some smarty pants had to say, that was 1998, Bongani.
Yes.
And I left it at that.
Yes.
Because that's what you do. Yeah, indeed. I mean, you're right. There's a generation of people who don't know South Africa at a World Cup.
Right? But now they will. So they beat Rwanda 3-0 last night through Talent and Better, Osman Apollos and Evidence Bakgopa. It'll be South Africa's first appearance at a World Cup since we qualified automatically in 2010. EWN Sports' Salakele Mganga was at Mbombela Stadium.
4 years ago, Hugo Broos played down Bafana's chances of qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
And you know, when you're rebuilding, there are always moments of weakness. So it can happen that we are not qualified for the World Cup.
But now South Africa has ended a 16-year absence from the world stage, booking their spot at next year's tournaments in the United States, Mexico and Canada. A 3-0 win over Rwanda, coupled with a 4-0 triumph for Nigeria over Benin, secured South Africa automatic progression from Group C. Their success also came despite a 3-point deduction during the 10-match qualifying campaign. And with Bafana getting the job done, next year's tournament will also be the backdrop for a fitting farewell for Broos, with the 2026 World Cup set to be the final chapter in his 40-year-long football career.
This is the right moment next year to stop my career and to go to my family and enjoy the next 20 years from my grandchildren and my children.
Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sports, Mbombela Stadium, Nelspruit.
Nigeria beat Benin 4-0 with a hat-trick from Victor Osimhen, but will have to qualify through a playoff. Senegal beat Mauritania 4-0. Ivory Coast beat Kenya 3-0 to qualify, along with Tunisia, Egypt and Algeria, as well as Cape Verde, Ghana and Morocco. Morocco beat Congo 1-0, making it 8 wins from 8. They're the only team that didn't drop points in qualifying. Portugal drew 2-2 with Hungary, Ronaldo scoring twice to take his tally to a record 41 goals in World Cup qualifying. Portugal were minutes away from qualifying, but Dominic Szoboszlai snatched the equaliser in the 91st minute to deny Portugal, who still top Group F by 5 points with 2 matches to go. England beat Latvia 5-0 to qualify from Group K, while Italy got a 3-0 win over Israel to stay on course to qualify. In Test cricket, the Proteas will resume day 4 on 51 for 2, needing a further 226 to beat Pakistan in the first Test. They lost Markram for 3 and Mulder for a duck. In the middle is Rickleton on 29 and Dazorzi on 16. Pakistan was 167 all out, and with Sami took 5 wickets. That's 11 for the match. Harmer took 4. Dazorzi believes they can get the win.
Rix and I just keep each other present. In a partnership, we just try to take it one ball at a time. We remind each other of our good options, whatever those are for us. They're different. The guys coming in are just as able, if not more talented. So I don't think it's just Rix and I think the rest of the Oaks are keen to get out there, and hopefully they won't. But anyone on there in our team, if they get in and they build a partnership, then it's on.
At the Women's Cricket World Cup, Sri Lanka and New Zealand's game was rained out. Today, England plays Pakistan. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Morning, Bafana. Just a quick one. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of us were so keen to watch that game last night, but I just want to know, where were the fans? Where were the fans last night? Because, or were the tickets like the rugby, 3,000 Rand a ticket? Because surely the guys could have turned out and supported better than that. Yeah, it's a must-win game, and it's an empty stadium.
Good morning, Bongani and team. Thank you for the wonderful show. It's Owen here. I think Bafana knows the true meaning of love thy neighbor. Because the very same team, when they played Zimbabwe, they didn't even score a goal. But yesterday, when Rwanda came in, they said, no ways. You are not even our neighbor. We're going to massacre you. Wow, what a match. I watched the full game, man. It was wonderful to see them qualify. Thank you, Bongani. Have a good day.
Top of the morning, Mr. Bingwa and 702 lenders. Big ups to Bafana for a nail-biting qualification into the World Cup. See, the thing about this police service organizational mess is that no one's testimony will be a summation of it all. The truth in some shape or form lies in all of them. Except for what is trending, I found General Sibia to be equally compelling in the main. Mkwana's articulacy should not be viewed as altogether accuracy. Thanks for a great show. Tsepo in Boxburg.
PSG Asset Management sees opportunities others have missed. Like that stock, once up, now down. We thought good price and started our in-depth research there. Turns out it was a quality undervalued company working hard to restore market confidence to deliver soaring returns when they did. Because for us, a good price is just the beginning. To partner with us, contact your financial advisor or visit psg.co.za. PSG Asset Management Pty Limited is an authorized financial services provider and part of PSG Financial Services Group, a licensed controlling company.
To sell or not to sell? That is the question. Whether selling a car, bike, boat or bakkie, WeBuyCars offers instant payment and a stress-free experience. Simply complete the form on webuycars.co.za for the best offer. Trading in or shopping for your next ride? Explore 12,000 vehicles or more online or visit WeBuyCars in store. Head to WeBuyCars today.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Hello, Uncle Bongani. My name is Onyema Agu. I am now 11 years old. I go to little school at the Nut. When I grow up, I still want to be a YouTuber. I hope I ace this Whiz Quiz.
We hope you ace it too. 10,000 Rand is what's up for grabs.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Delays on the N1 North. Amo?
Yes, Bongani, that's in the south of Joburg, particularly Eldorado Park, Devland, as well as the N1, the Deep Kloof interchange. This is due to a major accident scene. If you're traveling along this area, expect about a 30-40 minute delay, and please drive with care. On the N1 south in the Waterfall area, another scene reported right near the Baklu interchange. Delays from New Road. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 94. You dropped your phone behind the fridge and had to rescue it. That's a weak one. Well, fortunately, with the outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The outsurance pointsman ease traffic congestion to get you there quickly and safely. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Before a masterpiece takes shape, there's a single line that starts it all, until every curve and every angle reflects the clarity of a single vision. And only then does inspiration take its final form. The all-new Audi A5, designed to inspire. Starting from $14,499 per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za or your nearest dealer for more. T's and C's apply.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, FNB Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any FNB Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with FNB Premier. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
In the next hour, we'll play What's the Question, brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. Firstly, you send us an answer based on something you heard in the show, and for that you win 1,000 Rand. WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Later, someone else will ask a question to win 2,000 Rand. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Give away some cash, and then, of course, we'll speak to university Professor Gilbert Kadiagala about the mess that is in Madagascar at the moment. But before that, Unima is 11 years old and wants to be a YouTuber later on in life and is ready to win 10,000 Rand, Unima. Yes?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am is the confident answer. KG, start the clock. Spell the word knife.
N-I-C-E.
Correct. Which word means eager, idle or keen? Correct. What is the name of Kristoff's reindeer in the movie Frozen?
Rudolph.
Sven. What do we call the plastic stadium trumpets used at soccer matches?
What?
Vuvuzelas. In maths, what is 24 divided by 2?
12.
Correct. What large ocean is between Asia and North America?
The ocean.
It's the Pacific Ocean. True or false? South Africa has 3 capitals.
True.
Correct. Which star provides us with vitamin D?
The sun.
Correct. Mixing red and yellow makes which color?
Green.
Orange. True or false? The heart is the human. I can't complete the question, and that means, Unima, you walk away with 500 Rand. 5 correct answers is what you get. You're 8, 10, and 13. Send us a WhatsApp voice note, and we could be calling you to play the Whiz Quiz.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
On 702.
702.
The Africa Report.
All right, the Africa Report. We want to focus on Madagascar. Remember, we started the week with this conversation looking at the island nation in turmoil. Protests began over power and water shortages, unemployment, and accusations of corruption. It began as a frustration over those basic services, but has now spiraled into a national crisis, with parts of the military reportedly siding with the protesters. Professor Gilbert Kadiagala is from the University of the Wits. It's a director of the African Center for the Study of the United States at Wits University and joins us now. Prof, a very good morning to you. Thank you for your time. So we've already delved into the background of the protests and what led us here. What can you confirm about the latest goings-on in Madagascar?
The latest goings are that the Constitutional Court ruled that there is a new leader, and the new leader was approved by Parliament after Mr. Rajoelina, the president, left the country. So the problem now is whether it's going to be an internationally recognized government, because now there's already a lot of noise from the international community, particularly the African Union and SADC, that this is really an unconstitutional change of government, that Mr. Rajoelina is still the legitimately elected president. But on the ground, there is a new president, and I think it looks like things are stabilizing now, because the military has taken power and they have announced that they'll have elections in 2 years. So I don't really think that this crisis is going to grind on as we expected, because I think once there is some movement on who the next leader is, and in this case it's a military leader, not acceptable to the African Union or SADC, but I think the people have made the decision. And that's why he's been legitimated through the courts and the National Assembly.
As I made clear in my introduction, of course, many of the protesters, a lot of them young people, were frustrated with shortages in terms of basic service delivery. Those issues will not go away with President Rajoelina.
No, Rajoelina now is gone. They are not going to go away. But you see, the expectation is that there is a new government that is going to be formed, and that is going to come up with more creative ways of dealing with these issues that have been around for quite a while. This is a very typical question of governance, economic mismanagement, and so on. So hopefully there is a new leader who can, in fact, look at these issues much more differently. They accuse Mr. Rajoelina of being corrupt and authoritarian. So I would expect that they would have to be more open to many voices, because the youth are not very happy, and even the former presidents are not happy. Everybody is not happy.
All right.
So the issue now is, okay, let's see how they translate this kind of grievances into some tangible economic and political benefits.
Prof, the other question, of course, is SADC. Madagascar, as I understand it, took over chairing the body from August. What does that mean for SADC now?
SADC was warned in May by a group of Malagasy leaders who said you should not allow Mr. Rajoelina to be the chair of SADC. And this was in May, so they actually never listened to that comment from the large, broad-based leadership in Madagascar. So now Rajoelina is no longer the chair, but maybe the best thing to do is to just get some other country to take over. Maybe South Africa can, in fact, take that position. It is not an insurmountable problem. A SADC chair is really very nominal. I mean, they don't really do much. But I don't think it looks good for the new president, Mr. Rajoelina, to become the SADC chair, because I think, as I said, SADC is contesting his legitimacy. So they should just give that position to a country like South Africa, which should do it for it's only for a year.
So SADC at this stage has not officially made any position clear about what happens next to the chairmanship.
No, they haven't, because I think they are still battling with the issue of legitimacy of the new government. So they don't want to touch the SADC, because, as I said, it's not a really primary. It's not a primary issue.
It's more symbolic than anything else.
Yeah,
right.
correct.
Appreciate your time, Professor Gilbert M. Kadiagala there from Wits University with this morning's Africa Report.
Coming up, the big interview.
The big interview focusing on South African police services, quite apart from what the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is looking into, and indeed that ad hoc parliamentary committee, we want to understand from an organizational point of view. How could you have a scenario, for example, where the KZN commissioner has blocked the national commissioner or the deputy national commissioner, and instructions are not being followed, and there's very different positions about who has the power to do what? Organizationally, SAPS is in a mess, quite apart from the far more serious allegations around infiltration by criminal cartels. We speak to an expert coming up next.
This is EWN.
Shadrack Sibia says Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is no hero, and the president sends a stern warning to corrupt cabinet ministers. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia has warned South Africans against praising KZN top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, saying this will create a monster no one can control. Sibia says had he been in Mkhwanazi's position when he held the press briefing in combat gear, he would have been fired on the spot by his superiors. He criticized Mkhwanazi yesterday during the last day of his testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating police corruption. Babalo Ndense reports.
Shadrack Sibia confirmed that there's no love lost between him and KZN Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi during his two-day testimony. Sibia dismissed a lot of Mkhwanazi's allegations that he was behind a push to disband the political killings task team and interfered in the fight against criminal syndicates in Gauteng. Sibia also tells MPs that Mkhwanazi's rise in popularity, especially on social media, could come back to bite them. He says no provincial commissioner would get away with what Mkhwanazi is doing.
No provincial commissioner you will see on TikTok. He's the only one that campaigned and funded on TikTok. And this wins all the South Africans. You touch Mkhwanazi, you touch us. But he's a policeman. So I'm just saying there are a lot of things that are wrong that we are supporting as a country. And we are creating a monster that no one is able to control.
Sibia wrapped up his evidence last night and will now prepare for another appearance before the Madlanga Commission to answer the same allegations. Babalo Ndense, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Private forensic investigator Calvin Rafadi says he has been unfairly implicated at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry without any evidence or credible proof that demonstrates corruption or criminality. Yesterday, messages between Rafadi and attempted murder-accused Vusmuzi Kat Matlala were read before the commission. A series of WhatsApp texts downloaded from Matlala's cell phone were shared as part of evidence from an anonymous witness. Oren Singh reports.
Messages between Vusmuzi Kat Matlala and private forensic investigator Calvin Rafadi show how Rafadi on several occasions requested money from Matlala for fuel, rent and institutional fees. Reading from Witness X's statement, Madlanga Commission evidence leader, Advocate Adila Hasim.
Mr. Rafadi makes repeated requests for assistance with petrol and other help. Mr. Rafadi returns the favors by contributing to a media narrative that suits Mr. Matlala regarding the PKTT.
In a written reply to EWN, Rafadi refuted the allegations, claiming they are being driven by fictional narratives and rogue elements within crime intelligence who are hell-bent on silencing him because he has consistently highlighted their failure to act proactively in the fight against crime. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says he will dismiss members from his cabinet if there's credible evidence that leads to them being criminally charged. He has dismissed claims from some members of the National Council of Provinces that he does not treat all ministers who are accused of corruption equally. While he suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, he moved Human Settlements Minister Thembi Simelane from the Justice portfolio following allegations of corruption against her. Lindsay Dentlinker reports.
As an ad hoc committee was probing alleged interference in police operations by suspended Minister Senzo Mchunu, in the National Council of Provinces, the DA's Nicolas du Plessis asked the President what measures he has in place to root out corruption in his cabinet. President Cyril Ramaphosa responded that the rule of law and due process have to be followed before a minister is dismissed.
No member of the cabinet is above the law, and when credible evidence is tabled and presented, we will take action.
But the DA's Mzamo Billy and the EFF's Mampuru both questioned his treatment of Minister Thembisa Malani following allegations linking her to the looting of the VBS Mutual Bank.
No, I do not have double standards. I do evaluate various matters rather carefully.
Meanwhile, Ramaphosa says he's accepted an explanation from his deputy, Paul Mashatile, for failing to declare a diamond gift to Parliament as plausible. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And Israel has received the bodies of 4 more dead hostages. They were handed over to the Red Cross by Hamas last night. At least 20 more bodies are expected to arrive in Israel over the coming days. Separately, a Gaza hospital has received the bodies of 45 Palestinians handed back by Israel, also as part of US President Donald Trump's plan to end the war. Under the deal, Israel will turn over the bodies of 15 Palestinians for every dead Israeli returned. Meanwhile, the United Nations and the International Red Cross are calling for all crossings into Gaza to be opened to allow desperately needed aid into the Israel-blockaded Palestinian territory. In August, the UN declared a famine in Gaza, the first in the Middle East, after experts warned 500,000 people faced catastrophic conditions. Fahan Haq is deputy spokesperson for the United Nations.
We certainly want as much aid as possible to go in. And like I said, we're asking all of the parties to adhere to their agreements so that both the deceased hostages will be returned and that the other aspects of the implementation of the ceasefire, including regarding humanitarian aid, will be followed.
Gold is trading at $4,178.72 an ounce. The rand is at 17.33 to the dollar, 23.13 to the pound, 20.13 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $62.18 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy traffic volumes along the N1 North. This is between the N12 exit and the Diepkloof interchange. A major accident scene is reported along this route. As a result, people are now using the Golden Highway towards the Meerdale area as well as Southgate areas. And I'm being told that people are now using the oncoming traffic lane to try and avoid the mess. If you're traveling along this route, please try to be patient. Stick it out on your main lane and try to not cause more traffic delays. We'll have more coming up. Stay tuned.
And in your sports, soccer fans, apply for your visas and pack your bags. South Africa's off to the FIFA World Cup in the USA after Bafana beat Rwanda 3-0. And the Proteas resumed a 4-1, 51-2, still needing a further 226 to beat Pakistan in the first test. The target is 277.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated afternoon thundershowers expected. Johannesburg is at a low of 15 degrees, peaking at 32. Pretoria 17 and 34, for the Vereeniging 17 as well, and a high of 32 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia has warned South Africans against praising KZN top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, saying this will create a monster no one can control.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 7 o'clock. Have you been following the testimony of the suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia, who was quite scathing in his assessment of that press briefing by Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi earlier this year, essentially arguing that there's a double standard in terms of how Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was treated and how any other police officer might be treated. Have a listen to what General Shadrack Sibia said yesterday about Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
If today I can stand up and go and call that press conference, I also used, at some point in my life, I also wore camouflage uniform. Maybe I should also wear one, go make a conference as well and talk things. But I will be fired from the podium at the same time. That day, on stage, doing that, I'll be gone. But some people, because they've got a very powerful social media that they have invested in, every TikTok that you open, no police official is allowed to do what General Mkhwanazi is doing. No provincial commissioner you will see on TikTok. He's the only one that campaigned on and funded on TikTok. And this wins all the South Africans. You touch Mkhwanazi, you touch us. But he's a policeman. So I'm just saying there are a lot of things that are wrong that we are supporting as a country. And we are creating a monster that no one is able to control.
For some of those questions and those issues to our next guest, I think there's some merit in what Sibia is saying there, even though he fumbled on a number of issues. We asked you a question earlier. Have you ever been saddled with baggage simply because you're associated with somebody? President Ramaphosa has confirmed he does know the alleged Tembisa Hospital corruption kingpin Hangwani Maumela, but he met him from a chance encounter when he was jogging outside his home. That was the first time they met. On the second encounter, on a separate walk, the president says at that point he confronted Maumela about the corruption allegations he faces. Listen.
And then in 2024, on the 26th of December, I am walking with my daughter, who loves walking too, on the same street. And there this young man comes out and he says, "Hello, Ramaphosa. My mother is here. Can you say hello to her?" And I say, "Who is she?" He says, "It's Bongani Maumela." Now, when I was at school in Papuli High School with my then wife, Hope Mudau, her brother was also there. And later I got to know that this Mboneni and this my wife's brother, my former wife's brother, they hooked up, and as they hooked up, they had a child. And this is now Hangwani Maumela, whom I did not know. But I know his mother because we were at school together. So he says, "My mother is here. Can you say hello to her?" And she's coming out of the yard towards the main gate. And she's wearing a gown, a morning gown. And I immediately say, I can't allow her to come into the street with a morning gown. And I go towards the gate and I greet her. And I say, "How are you? How have you been?" That's the sum total of it all. And I walk away.
So he just, on these chance encounters, meets these people. To be fair to the president, he divorced his former wife 43 years ago. By my calculation, Hangwani is meant to be, I think, about 53 now. So he would have been 10 years old at the time of that divorce. So I don't know if it's fair to link him to the president on that basis. However, twice, on a casual walk in the neighborhood, the president bumps into this man who's alleged to be the kingpin of the looting at Tembisa Hospital, who happens to be related by marriage to his former wife of 43 years ago. Have you been saddled with baggage from a simple association?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Keeping an eye on the University of the Free State, students there protesting over plans to scrap provisional registration by 2026, and so all campuses have been shut down with immediate effect. And then there's an awful story that comes out of Uppington, a petty argument over just 10 Rand, 10 Rand, ended in tragedy and a 12-year prison sentence. 20-year-old Geraldo Philander from Uppington was found guilty in the regional court for stabbing his 15-year-old cousin, Calvin Brow, in January. They were fighting over 10 Rand. He stabbed him fatally. And then Adam Gilchrist has a fantastic story. Well, I mean, not quite so fantastic. In fact, Drew Struzan, the legendary artist whose iconic posters brought films like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Harry Potter to life, has passed away at the age of 76. And we heard yesterday news. Born Michael Eugene Archer. You know him as D'Angelo. He was one of the founders of what they call Neo Soul, along with people like Maxwell in the late 90s. Artists from Beyonce and others honoring the legendary musician who died yesterday due to cancer.
I can go on everything
say that you get a feeling, the feeling when I'm feeling. Sing it with me, y'all. Closer, baby, to me, baby.
Oh, man.
Say you already got me what we want, baby.
Bamba up, umdanam. Bamba up. 1995, his debut album Brown Sugar. He released Voodoo in 2000, which of course had this track untitled How Does It Feel? And 2014's Black Messiah with his band Vanguard. He had a child with Angie Stone, who was here for the DSTV Delicious Festival a couple of years ago, and she died earlier this year, and he's gone too. Imagine that kid having to pick up the pieces.
702. Up next.
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. There's a crash now on the N1 South.
Yes, Bongani, this is in the Waterfall City area. So if you were leaving Midrand at this particular moment, do expect about an hour's hold up coming out of Olifantsfontein Road towards the Baklu interchange as a result of this scene. People are now using Pretoria Main Road through Islandale Road to try and avoid the scene. You can also use Islandale Road and then turn off at Waterfall Drive towards areas like Sunny Hill as well as Woodmead. While traveling on the N3 North, delays towards the Baklu turn-off due to roadworks. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that video to download. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 48-year-old Felicity, who now pays a low 836 Rand a month for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson. With Outsurance, you get the legendary Out bonus that pays you a percentage of your premiums back if you're claim-free. SMS out to 45142. Make today the day you switch and get more out. After switching, 31-year-old Palisa now pays only 926 Rand a month for her 2024 Kia Sonet. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? Get a quote today. And if Outsurance can't beat what you're currently paying, you can ask for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702.
The Big Interview.
With Bongani Bingwa.
18 minutes after 7 o'clock. So we know, of course, there are these parallel processes looking into the South African Police Service, particularly, of course, these allegations of criminal infiltration of our law enforcement. But one of the observations I think many of us have made in both hearing testimony at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry and now, of course, this parliamentary ad hoc committee is just the organizational mess that seems to be the case at the South African Police Services. I think there was a point where the KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi boldly stated he had blocked General Sibia. He said, I blocked him. Sibia, of course, when he was testifying before the ad hoc committee, was talking about how it became difficult to liaise with what was going on in KZN because there was no contact between himself and the commissioner of police in KZN. You can see the kind of mess that we are talking about. And we've brought in somebody who knows all about how this ought to play out. Lisette Lancaster is the acting head of Justice and Violence Prevention Program at the Institute for Security Studies. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, Lisette. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Bongani and Bongani. Good morning to your listeners. It's always nice to talk to you.
So, I mean, I'm sure you've kept an eye on all of these proceedings, and I, in fact, have a couple of clips that I want to play you in case you may have missed those particular moments. But just give me an overall impression, and let's set aside the allegations of criminal infiltration by cartels for a moment. Just in terms of an organization like the police service, which has very rigid structures. There's a reason somebody might be, a general or a colonel or a captain and all those ranks. It should be clear who receives orders from whom and who must follow them accordingly. That doesn't necessarily appear to be the case from what I can make out here.
No, I think what we are seeing is not necessarily a problem with the organizational structure, because it's very clear in the Police Service Act, it's very clear in the Constitution, but it is a matter of trust and distrust and a matter of different people and personality clashes.
But I mean, part of the rigidity of that structure is to make sure that when those personal feelings come into play, they aren't what rules the roost.
Exactly, Bongani. But what we have seen through the years, so probably since the years of Jackie Selebe at least, is that these structures and these command and control systems have broken down. There's interference, there's a lot of suspicion, people getting dirt on one another, and it becomes very difficult. It's a very toxic environment to operate in. So it becomes very difficult to fulfill your mandate in such environment. I mean, just to explain, I mean, we have seen almost not a single police commissioner finishing their term because of allegations of corruption. So this is, and of course the political interference that we've been hearing about. So we are seeing a very toxic environment where it's very difficult to exercise one's mandate.
I mean, of course, that will have a direct impact on how things pan out. Just for clarity, because I know she cares about these things, I think Ria Piecha left not because of corruption allegations, but I think you might say incompetence. Perhaps that was what was thrown at her. But I want you to listen to this moment. This is now in the ad hoc committee when General Sibia was asked about his relationship with Vusumuzi Kat Matlala. And the idea that somebody would be walking in and out of his office, who, of course, it later turned out has this checkered record, and that didn't seem to concern him at all. Have a listen.
I would find that very, very troubling. General, as a head of intelligence, you certainly cannot allow a situation where a character whose background is not known to you to actually frequent and walk in and out of your offices at head office level, and then suddenly that character is arrested. Then you come and say, hey, I did not know that this man was a criminal. Why? Head of intelligence.
Head of intelligence, it doesn't mean that, like, for instance, I have the intelligence and the intelligence they are reporting to me what they're doing. The intelligence are falling under me, but they were not, like the counterintelligence are not reporting to me. They're reporting to General Kumalo. Now, I won't know. But above all, even the police themselves at the headquarters, they were not really aware, even how he got to be allowed on the premises there and also be the one to service the student, run the hospital of the student. During the police events at the college there, he will also have his gazebo there. So he was known. It's not like in my case, I'm to be singled out as the only person who was communicated. Most of the generals there knew him, like any other person who is known not to be a criminal. I didn't know that he's a criminal person.
What do you make of an answer like that, Lizette?
Look, it's always difficult to comment on individual testimony because we haven't heard all the facts yet and seen all the evidence. But what we do know is that there are incredible generals and top managers still in the police. And having spent some time with them, we have seen them trying really hard to stay as neutral as possible, not to be influenced by outside people not, because I have seen how people try and vie for access to the police to get procurement and so on, whether it's software companies and so forth. And it's very difficult for these people to toe the line to make sure that they stay above board. But clearly there are times where some people feel more emboldened to entertain people that might not have the best interest of the organization at heart. And yes, this happens. That's why we do see all these allegations leveled of corruption against top managers in the past decade, 2 decades.
I know you're trying to be as diplomatic as possible here, Lizette, but even those generals who are trying their best, surely they'd be dismayed at some of the things that are being stated, even on, say, the version of Sibia that you've just heard there. That surely should concern all of us, certainly those at the top of the police force.
Of course it does. And people, this is the type of testimony, the type of evidence that does put the organization's credibility on the line, which is already so low in the minds of many South Africans. So you can imagine being a good, honest police member that has to hear this and think, how easy is it for some people to be influenced or to have access to top leadership?
So what does this then mean for public trust in the police?
I think it is really important that these processes play out and that we do hear what the true nature of these types of arrangements are and were, and that we deal with this. I mean, police reform has been on the cards for decades now. It's actually never stopped since 1994. So here we are talking about things that were mentioned in the National Development Plan of 2012, where it was described as a serial crisis of top management, where we need to look at lifestyle audits for all the top managers or the top leadership in the police, where we look at how new appointments are made. There needs to be a completely new system of senior performance management and accountability.
But also just a lack of understanding of their roles. I mean, we've seen both the National Commissioner and the Deputy National Commissioner unable or unsure what to do when a police minister interferes. The National Commissioner said, I knew he couldn't, and I tried to stop him in a very nice way. The Deputy National Commissioner says, of course he could.
Well, exactly, but we heard what happened to Mkonazi when he didn't follow orders of the police minister at the time, when he removed Richard Ndluli. And he was put on so-called gardening duty, where he was staying at home on full pay for a year. And these are the things that happen and has happened for decades. So it's very difficult to navigate this muddy waters of what the Constitution and the Police Service Act says and what happens in reality. And therein lies, I think, the rot of the police service. And it is a really good thing that these things are coming to the fore. There's there's a new police act, a policing plan on the table. There's a lot of stuff that is happening in order to turn this around.
Right.
So that's the good news.
If I'm fair to General Sibia, one of the things he said was he could never wear camouflage and call press conferences. He'd be fired on the spot. And he says we're opening a can of worms here and we may not be able to close it as far as Mkhwanazi is concerned. Would you say that's a fair comment?
Again, I mean, we need to see the evidence. This is clearly, again, like a clash of personalities.
Yeah, but hold on, Lizette. Do we want top cops on TikTok?
No. And again, going back to 1994, we saw that the transition was relatively peaceful because the police members at the time and the leadership understood that their role needs to be a neutral one, maintaining law and order free from whatever political administration is in charge. And this is the problem. We need to go back to the mandates. The Provincial Police Commissioner accounts not just to the National Police Commissioner, but also to the provincial legislature. Those processes need to be strengthened. We need to see that there's disciplinary action that is done by independent people outside of the police. There are ways to do that in the legislation. We need to just see more accountability and oversight, and we're not seeing this because all we are seeing is these personalities playing out on a national level.
All right, appreciate your time.
Or on national platforms.
Appreciate your time. Lizette Lancaster is the acting head of the Justice and Violence Prevention Program at the Institute for Security Studies. Mateo, you know what I want to do? In the next couple of days, I'm going to find a governance expert. This is somebody from a corporate point of view who might give us some insight. If you were going to redesign the police, the structure and the reporting lines and how people should communicate with each other and how people should deal with victimization if they're not willing to follow illegal or unethical orders, how would you redesign the police to work in that sense? Remember Mayor Khan at some point coming into the police and trying to rescue them in the early 90s? Maybe we should have some of that again.
EWN Business.
Business news then, Mateo Kharipe. Mining production decreasing in the month of August.
Yeah, this drop was led by decreases in platinum group metals, gold and manganese ore. PGMs fell by 3%, while manganese ore was down 3.4%, with gold dropping by 3.6%. There were some increases, though, for coal, diamond production and other metallic minerals. State SA says the country's mining production also dropped by 1.2% on a month-on-month basis in August. This followed the month-on-month increases in output of 1.2% for July and 0.3% for June. Now, despite the drop in production, seasonally adjusted mineral sales at current prices increased by 4.7% in the 3 months ended in August.
Moody's saying good things about South Africa's GDP.
Yeah, it's set to rise by 1.6% next year. That's their forecast. Their forecast is the most positive among the three major ratings agencies. Moody's has, however, warned that stronger growth will be needed to reduce debt in the country sustainably. The ratings agency says that current and expected reforms are inefficient to raise economic potential beyond 2% in South Africa, saying weak investment is also hurting SA growth.
Your indicators?
Rand at 17 Rand 32 against the US dollar, 20 Rand 13 cents against the euro, and at 23 Rand 10 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $4,187 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,651. Brent crude at $62.24 a barrel. I'll have more business after 8.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sfiso Zulu, higher education in some bother.
That's right, Bongani. The Minister, Putimana Mela, is seeking a contingency plan to minimize learning disruptions at the University of the Free State. Students started protesting about 2 weeks ago after the institution announced that people with outstanding debt would not be able to register to study next year. The management says only academically qualifying students will be fully registered once their fees or funding have been confirmed. But the institution insists that this policy does not affect students funded by NSFAS. Some buildings were torched at the Kwakwa campus on Monday after protesting students blocked roads. The minister has condemned the violence. His spokesperson, Matsepo Sidat.
The gravity of the situation necessitates that the safety and security of all students, staff and property is prioritized. Minister Manamela remains in direct and ongoing contact with the Vice Chancellor of the University of the Free State. A key focus for the minister is the preservation of the 2025 academic year.
The Credok 4 inquest is yet to hear how long it could take for former Flak Plus commander and notorious apartheid assassin Eugene de Kock to get to the green light to testify on some apartheid atrocities. De Kock was scheduled to take the stand at the inquest before the Eastern Cape High Court in Gqeberha in the coming days. But his lawyers told the court yesterday that the man, known as Prime Evil, has been hospitalized due to possible heart failure. The reopened inquest was set up to establish if Apartheid Security Branch Police or any other persons can be held liable for the deaths of some of the anti-apartheid activists. Naukayam Dambo reports.
Eugene de Kock was granted amnesty in 1999 for defeating the ends of justice after it was widely accepted that while he knew about the Credok 4 murders, he was not personally responsible for them. Fort Kalata, Matthew Koniwe, Stelo Mhlawuli and Sparrow Mkhonto were abducted and assassinated by police in 1985. While de Kock's medical records have not been fully disclosed publicly, the court was initially told he could need up to 6 months to recover from possible heart failure. His lawyers later confirmed that his doctors have ordered 2 to 4 weeks rest for now. Judge Tami Beshe has since ruled proceedings will go ahead without de Kock. This is the third attempt at uncovering the truth after the 1987 and 1993 inquests. Nogukanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
The city of Tshwane says it's not giving up on its fight to impose a cleansing levy, saying it will be approaching the Supreme Court of Appeal. The Metro introduced the levy in July this year, charging customers who use private waste collection services a 194 Rand a month tariff. But lobby group AfriForum took the Metro to the Pretoria High Court, where the levy was ruled as unlawful. The Metro subsequently applied for leave to appeal the decision, but that was also rejected. Tabiso Goba reports.
Despite the city cleansing levy being ruled unlawful by the courts, some residents in Tshwane are still being billed for it. The levy affects about 250,000 residents and businesses who use private waste collection services instead of the one provided by the city. Speaking at an event yesterday, Tshwane Mayor Nasipi Moya says the capital is taking its fight to the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein.
And the reason why we need to do so, because the city has a bylaw where the city cleansing levy is a levy that we are allowed to levy as the city.
Moya says the striking down of the levy doesn't affect the city's funded budget status, as the 278 million rand surplus revenue it was expected to generate was not allocated any expenditure. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
And at least 16 people have died after a huge fire broke out at a garment factory in Bangladesh. The fire service says 16 bodies have been recovered but were burnt beyond recognition. Distraught relatives gathered outside the 4-story factory in Dakar's Mirpur area yesterday in search of their loved ones still missing. The blaze, which broke out at the factory around midday, was extinguished after 3 hours, but an adjacent chemical warehouse continued to burn. Officials are warning that the death toll could rise. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected today. The temperatures are at lows of 15 and 17 degrees, peaking at highs between 32 and 34.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy delays in Devlin, Netchurina and Eldorado Park due to that major accident seen on the N1 North right near the Diepkloof interchange. As a result, traffic is also backed up, unfortunately, on the Golden Highway. And these delays are between the N12 and the N1. So please, if you're traveling around these areas, please be patient. While on the N3 North, we've got some delays between the Yelands interchange and the Kidulis interchange.
The top story, Higher Education Minister Putimana Mela is seeking a contingency plan to minimize learning disruptions at the University of the Free State.
Clement Manyatela.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Another person on Twitter says, Clement, how are we supposed to take the politicians seriously when they decry corruption and yet we still see them hanging out and fraternizing with the same people who are exploiting the tender system like Edwin Sodi? Please ask Lebogang Maile how are we supposed to trust them when that is happening. Yes, Amisi?
You see, we must not just, and I know people like making accusations and it's easy to soil people's images and characters. And if I have a historic relation or a childhood relation with someone and they commit crime, I can't be blamed for knowing that person. That's something else. But if you say I aid someone to commit corruption, that's different. I have to be arrested.
Clements Manyatela.
9 to 12 on 702.
It's time to hit the streets and show what you're made of. The Discovery Vitality Chicken Run. It's flavored by Nando's. It's on Saturday, the 8th of November at 5 p.m. And this one's pure city magic, reimagined and revitalized through Josie My Josie. You can choose 5Ks for fun or 10Ks for bragging rights. Not ready? Well, if you've sprinted for a taxi, dodged potholes, climbed stairs when the power was out, well, you're trained, man. Come on. Getting there's easy. So it's the How train to Park Station, then free Prasa train to Ellis Park. Lace up, show up, and enter now at racepass.com. So that's racepass.com.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Stevie, it's Clinton Myers, the Minister of National Treasures.
Mr. Minister, how can Momentum Insure help you?
This economy is not helping with the cost of my gusheshe, my tires, man.
Just get Momentum Insure's safety returns and get up to 30% cash back, even if you claim.
Is it true?
Stru's Bob, Mr. Minister. Visit momentum.co.za or call 0860 006 784. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer. T's and C's apply.
The Wits School of Governance develops leaders and innovators who reimagine governance, strengthen institutions, and drive inclusive growth across Africa. Your journey to impact starts there, from postgraduate diplomas to masters, PhD programs, and executive education tailored for today's wicked problems. They equip change makers in government, civil society, and the private sector with the tools to lead boldly and with purpose. Governance matters. Visit wsg.ac.za and apply today.
In a world shaped by those who build, disrupt, and reimagine, there comes a gathering not just of minds, but of futures. The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank, is where top entrepreneurs, innovators, and change makers converge. It's where the future of enterprise is redefined. On 5 and 6 November, you could be there. Stand a chance to win tickets to the South African Future Trust Summit on 702. WhatsApp the keyword SAFT with your name and ID number, telling us how you would benefit from attending the summit to 072-702-1702. Then catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa to find out if you're a winner. The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank. Your summit, your way, on 702. TCs and more on PrimeMediaPlus.com.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning. I just wanted to say I think Mkhwanazi is entitled to wear the camouflage uniform because he's earned it. As far as I understand, as being part of the task team. So as far as the explanation that's been out there is that there's nothing wrong with that. And as far as TikTok goes, I haven't seen himself putting himself on TikTok. It's social media that's been hyping him. So I don't know how you control that. Thank you, Dima Alberton.
Good morning, Bongani. Regarding redesigning the police, why don't we send out some people from the business world to top countries where the policing system really works and analyze their systems and how they have put that in place, and then cherry pick, like we did with the Constitution, cherry pick those things that work and implement them. Instead of reinventing the wheel, let's just copy what works around the world. This is Kat from Plett, wishing everybody a great day.
Bongani, talking about redesigning, call it this, the governance and structure in the SAPS, why don't you start with Mkhwanazi? He cannot be bribed. He has no skeletons. That's the man you want to work with. But also at crime intelligence with Dumisani Kumar, because they know who the deads are. Because my point in Bongani is that political tax team can become the next Scorpions. But you have to get rid of the ITEC. ITEC for me is already corrupted. He's playing politics. Truly, they're useless from what I'm saying. So, but the political culture is not at this stage infiltrated. So that's the way to go. Kustas
in Midrand, I think. Or is it no longer Midrand? Haven't heard from you in a while, Kustas. Thank you for that voice note. Look, the clear issue here is whatever your view of Sibia or Mkhwanazi or Kumalo or Masimula or even Senzo Mchunu himself, the very, very clear thing that we can all agree on is that we need a shake-up of how our policing works. And I don't know what the international best practice is. I mean, if you're looking at the interference that's occurring in the US now with the Justice Department and, law enforcement agencies from Homeland Security to ICE, I don't know what the international best practice is, and maybe we can just redesign what works for us in this context, right? Maybe that's what we need to do. What is very, very clear is that things cannot go on as they have been.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. So first we'll give you 1,000 Rand for an answer, and then a little later 2,000 Rand if you can give us a question to get to that answer. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask for 500 Rand. Cindy, do you know what I love? I love how the lines light up for people to answer the question when they haven't even heard the answer.
Well, you never know. You never know if they've been listening for the whole show.
So
Then they're like, no, I will know.
Whatever
I will
it
know.
is. Okay, let's get the answer. Titupa, you're in Centurion. Please give us today's answer.
A very good morning to you, Bongos. Today's answer is 51.
And tell me, Titupa, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
Yes, I do.
Your biscuit. 1,000 Rand is coming your way. You can go around telling everybody today that I called you a biscuit, okay?
Thank you, thank you.
Titupa says it's 51. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta. Yes.
I really don't want to take away from sport or whatever, but when you say a biscuit, can we get voice notes on what people imagine the biscuit they are being called is? Like, am I a choc chip? Am I a strawberry whirl? Am I a lemon cream? Am I a crunchy?
Ooh, that's interesting.
You see, let's do that. Right.
Okay, and eat some more perhaps.
Right. I'm in such a good mood today, obviously. Let's start with some...
Yes, take your pick, actually.
No, we're delaying getting to the cricket for a reason. But let's start with the sound from the change room last night with Hugo Broos Hugo Broos standing on a table, singing with all the players around him, and this is what it sounded like.
Are we going to America? Yeah! Are we going to America? Yeah! Are we going to America?
Oh, man.
How beautiful.
The national orders. He should get a national order of something.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I'm just...
No, we can, because he's done something that a generation, like we spoke about at Hopper 6, hasn't seen.
Yeah.
Because for the first time in 15 years, Bafana has qualified for the World Cup. For the first time since 2002, we've qualified for the World Cup. Because in 2010
was a gift.
Was automatic. South Africa beat Rwanda 3-0. Talent Mbata and Osman Apollos took the side into halftime 2-0 up before Evidence Mahopa sealed the deal. And with Nigeria beating Benin 4-0, it'll be South Africa's fourth appearance at a World Cup. But they've never made it out the group stages. Here's the coach.
There are no presents, there are no gifts. You have to earn them. And this is something, after 1 year, don't ask me why, but suddenly, there it was. Suddenly we had a team. Suddenly, players understood what I wanted. Suddenly players knew that you have to work very hard to perform and to achieve something. That was for me, when I went to games to look for players, for me the first thing I saw was the mentality on the pitch.
I wish we get an easy group. I don't know, where we play China and Samoa or something.
Is there? Well, firstly, I don't think either of the sides have qualified, but I don't think there is such a thing as an easy group when you've got 48 of the world's best.
I know.
Right?
I just want to get past the group stage.
Apparently last night the commentator was like, bring on Argentina. I'm like, come back. Slow down. Did you see Argentina last night, 6-0? I'm like, can we just bring on your Ronaldo?
No.
Breaks?
No.
Yeah.
I want Samoa. I want China.
Wow. Okay. I'm sure if you pay the right person, you could get that. Senegal beat Mauritania 4-0. Ivory Coast beat Kenya 3-0. They've qualified along with the other African sides who are through: Tunisia, Egypt and Algeria, as well as Cape Verde, Ghana and Morocco. Morocco beat Congo 1-0. They're the only team that didn't drop points in qualifying. Ronaldo scored twice as Portugal drew 2-2 with Hungary. Of course he did. Dominic Szoboszlai snatched the equaliser in the 91st minute to deny Portugal qualification for now. Portugal still tops Group F by 5 points with with 2 matches to go. England beat Latvia 5-0, so they've qualified. Italy on course to still qualify after beating Israel 3-0. It's not going well for the Proteas on day 4. Hate to be the person. They resumed on 51 for 2. They've lost Azorzi for 16 and Stubbs for 2. They're currently 71 for 4 and still need a further 206 to beat Pakistan. The target they're chasing is 277. In the middle is Rickleton on 32 and Brevis on 14. And at the Women's Cricket World Cup, Sri Lanka and New Zealand's game was rained out today. England plays Pakistan. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Lock into roaring rugby action this season with Hollywood Bets. Bet 50 Rand or more on any Vodacom United Rugby Championship fixture and you could win a share of 300,000 Rand in cash, betting vouchers or prizes. This includes Smeg bar fridges, macro vouchers, a Sharks captain run or a player circle experience. Only the toughest team will prevail. Bet now and let the rugby rumble begin. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. Amo?
Bongani, we still have got heavy traffic volumes on the N12 and the R24 West between Barber Road and the Giluli's interchange. An accident has been reported right near the merge between these two highways, so please be on the lookout there and drive with care while traveling on the N3 North. Queuing traffic between Van Buren and the Giluli's. There's also queuing traffic towards the Woodmead as well as Sunny Hill areas. This is due to those roadworks that are taking place along this route. Delays from Vincent Chabalala Road towards the Baklu interchange. Otherwise, traveling within the inner city areas, Parkmore, we've got heavy traffic volumes along Santon Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive. Peak time pressure there. There's also queuing traffic towards Winnie Mandela Drive on Republic Road. So please drive with care and try to avoid. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Don't ever settle for great. You know that great feeling after nailing a big presentation? Imagine upgrading that. I'm talking driving home with your car's massage seats, practically high-fiving your bum. Headlights so bright, you feel like the star your boss said you were. Arriving home, making an entrance, grander than your slide transitions. Go grand in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Visit opel.co.za for more.
Opel Grandland.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance in 702. Please tell me what's the question. If the answer is 51, let's go to Hank in Merton. Hank, what's the question?
How old was Michael Eugene Archer, better known as the Angelo, when he died on the 14th October 2025?
Yes, indeed. Are you a fan of his music, Hank, at all?
No, not
Any
really.
of it familiar to you?
No, not really. I just know his album was Brown Sugar, one of his good albums.
I tell you what, Hank, I'll do two things for you. I'm going to give you 2,000 Rand, all thanks to Outsurance in 702. But the far greater gift, Hank, I'm going to give you is an introduction to D'Angelo's music. Have a listen.
spend 10 minutes waiting for that file to download. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 Ford Ranger, 57-year-old Andy now pays only 1,083 Rand a month. And for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson, 48-year-old Felicity pays just 836 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Let's rewind 6 years, when Twitter was still Twitter, and not a letter of the alphabet. TikTok was simply the sound your clock made. And Zoom just meant enlarging a picture. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring? Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for butcheries, restaurants, beauty salons, and more. Here's Gert.
I definitely have peace of mind that Business Outsurance is protecting our business. I do think Business Outsurance are the best insurance company out there, and they gave us the best quotes.
Switch to Business Outsurance, and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702
702. What's gone viral?
with Kabazela.
Time now for the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Bafana Savannah, South Africa Savannah. We're going to the US. Good morning, Belle.
Talk to me about twins. They're not always identical, are they?
Yeah, I mean, if you have friends who are twins, or if you have your own twins, their personalities always gets me. So I remember back in school there was the Shout twins, Desmond and I can't remember what the other brother's name was, but they were in my grade and they were identical. Like the looks wise, even personality wise, they were completely the same. But then you find other twins and they look the same if they're identical twins, but their personalities are completely different. And while we're talking about this is this video that was online where a father walks to one of his daughter's bedroom and he walks in and she's dancing, having a great time. But her bedroom looks like a bomb has hit it. It's a complete mess, clothes lying everywhere and all over the place. Then he walks across the hallway to the other daughter's bedroom and there she is, very calm. The bedroom is completely neat, tidy, and everything is in place. And he puts the post online and says, how can twins be so alike but so different? So I wanted to ask our 702 family this morning about twins that they know or have, and tell us about their personalities and how alike or unlike they are.
All right, I'd love to know. They may not be, or they might even be identical physically, but they're very different in terms of their personalities. Tell us your stories about your twins.
702
Feedback
with Siamtanda Matiso.
Very good morning to you, Siamtanda Matiso.
Good morning.
Were you a D'Angelo fan?
No, but I want to say something to all the 702 landers who is Bongani like this? If they are watching on YouTube dancing and say, yes, he's exactly like this. This is why he always complains to KG about not getting the right song because he wants to dance. So this is Bongani. If you want to see him on YouTube dancing, that is him.
They should check out my Friday
Yeah,
video.
no,
my Friday dance video.
Exactly.
On Instagram.
I'm even shocked Amu was not joining.
She doesn't know D'Angelo.
I know
That's
D'Angelo.
why it makes all sense.
She only knows Mojo. Anthony Hamilton.
No, I know D'Angelo, and there's certain songs that I like of his, and he's featured on the artists that I like Lauryn Hill, for instance, and so that's why I wasn't dancing along with Bongs. But otherwise, I do appreciate his contribution to
Well,
the
there
R&B
have been
industry.
condolences, and DJ KG, all of the 702 landers are complimenting you for that mix. Thank you very much for getting it right. And big cheers to Bafana. Listen, 702 landers woke up feeling proud and happy about them qualifying for the FIFA World Cup. But also they criticize the president. Listen, Bongs, they're not quite feeling the answer that the president gave us. They're saying, listen, you knew. But also they place themselves in his shoes and they're like, if I was related, I wouldn't tell you guys that I knew Maumela as
For
well.
me, the thing is, whilst these chance encounters look, as the kids would say, a little sus, right? But I also take his point. He divorced this person 43 years ago. I mean, I don't know. I see stretch marks as far as that is concerned.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I hear you.
You haven't been with their family for nearly 50 years.
Also, like,
and you must now account for
of us
some
have
connection.
Big families, Bongs. We don't also know some of our cousins.
Now, he says
nephews.
this is his former wife's brother, right, who married this man's mother that they all went to school with. Can you imagine being asked? I mean, some of the papers even wrote it as his nephew.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
I hear you.
To be fair to the president.
Exactly.
Let's go to the news.
This is EWN.
Another deadly shooting has been reported in the Western Cape, and South Africa to continue with its case against Israel in the International Court of Justice. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. 3 people have been killed in the latest shooting in Cape Town. The men were found in a car shortly before midnight in the Hout Bay community of Imizamo Yetu. The police's Andre Trout says the victims sustained gunshot wounds.
Police have launched an investigation following the discovery of 3 unidentified men shot dead in a silver Hyundai i20 at Olomisa Square in Imizamo Yetu, Hout Bay, late last night. The motive for the triple murder is still unknown, but extortion is being investigated as a possible factor.
A new presiding officer in the Pretoria Magistrates Court will hear submissions by crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo and 2 of his co-accused this morning in a bid to have their bail conditions relaxed. The trio wants the conditions amended for them to return to work. They have been implicated in a fraud and corruption scandal related to the appointment of Dineo Mukwele into a specialized position within crime intelligence despite not having any previous policing experience, Oren Singh reports.
Chief Magistrate of the Pretoria Regional Court, Vusimusi Mahlangu, recused himself yesterday in the matter against crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo, Precious Madondo and Josias Lekalakala. The 3 senior-ranking crime intelligence officers want their bail conditions amended so they can return back to work. This after they were arrested in June on charges of fraud and corruption by members of the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption. IDEC spokesperson Henry Mamotame says Mahlangu has been subpoenaed by the Madlanga Commission to testify.
He cited reasons relating to allegations that have been leveled against the judiciary at the Madlanga Commission. The matter will appear before a new presiding officer who's expected to give guidance on how proceedings will unfold.
The matter will appear before a new presiding officer. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
Suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia has warned South Africans against praising KZN top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, saying this will create a monster no one can control. Sibia says had he been in Mkhwanazi's position when he held a press briefing in combat gear, he would have been fired on the spot by his superiors. He criticized Mkhwanazi yesterday during the last day of his testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating police corruption. Babalon Denza reports.
Sibia confirmed that there's no love lost between him and KZN Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi during his 2-day testimony. Sibia dismissed a lot of Mkhwanazi's allegations that he was behind a push to disband the political killings task team and interfered in the fight against criminal syndicates in Gauteng. Sibia also tells MPs that Mkhwanazi's rise in popularity, especially on social media, could come back to bite them. He says no provincial commissioner would get away with what Mkhwanazi is doing.
No provincial commissioner you will see on TikTok. He's the only one that campaigned and funded on TikTok. And this wins all the South Africans. You touch Mkhwanazi, you touch us. But he's a policeman. So I'm just saying there are a lot of things that are wrong that we are supporting as a country. And we are creating a monster that no one is able to control.
Sibia wrapped up his evidence last night and will now prepare for another appearance before the Madlanga Commission to to answer the same allegations. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And President Cyril Ramaphosa says while South Africa applauds a peace deal brokered in the Middle East, it won't change South Africa's case in the International Court of Justice. The court is seized with determining whether Israel committed a genocide in Gaza in retaliation for Hamas taking more than 250 people hostage and killing more than 1,000 about 2 years ago. Since the war began, more than 67,000 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces in Gaza. Answering questions yesterday in the National Council of Provinces, Ramaphosa said South Africa will continue to advocate for Palestinians. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says while he expects the release of Palestinian prisoners and Israeli hostages to enhance this week's peace deal, it does not impact on government's case in the Hague court.
South Africa has taken decisive action in advocating the rights of the people of Palestine. And in doing so, at times we've done it at great cost to ourselves as a country.
Ramaphosa says despite the ceasefire, Israel still has to answer for the atrocities committed in Gaza.
Whilst we welcome the peace deal, we do believe that in the end, real justice must be done to the people of Palestine.
Meanwhile, the EFF's Virgil Gericke says his party is not optimistic about the peace deal holding, viewing it as a deal between friends, US President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Gold is trading at $4,178.72 an ounce. The rand is at 17.33 to the dollar, 23.13 to the pound, 20.13 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $62.18 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the Mike 1 North between Boysons and Empire Road. That's due to peak time delays there. There's also queuing traffic on the November 1 North. This is between the Soweto Highway and Albertina Sisulu Road. This is due to an accident reported along this route, so please be on the lookout there. About a 10-minute hold up.
And in your sport,
Are we going to
Bafana coach Hugo Broos says he never doubted his squad. They beat Rwanda 3-0 last night to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And the Proteas in a heap of trouble on day 4. They lost Zorzi and Stubbs in quick succession as they chased down 277 to beat Pakistan in the first test.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated afternoon thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 32 and 34 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: 3 people have been killed in the latest shooting in Cape Town.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 8 o'clock, you're listening to 702 Breakfast on this 15th of October. 15th. Where do I get 13th from? It's the 15th of October. Welcome to everyone. If you've just joined us, where are you listening to us from? Are you in Darrenwood, Daspoort, Davidson, Davidsonville? Are you in Dawnview, Dobsonville, Dalville, Dalmore? Are you in Delaray? Are you in Diepkloof? Are you in Dawn Park? Are you in Davidson? See what I did there? We're reflecting on a number of issues. How do we redesign SAPS? It cannot be that we've got the top cops in the country gathering intelligence on each other and being informed by members of the public and then not being concerned that ordinary folk have intelligence information they should not possess. And think about this. You are the number 2 cop in the country. Some member of the public comes to you with intelligence that other cops within your ranks are coming after you. You are more concerned about that than the fact that some random chap had this information which they were not supposed to possess. Because you see your colleagues in the upper echelons of our law enforcement as a bigger threat than some random member of the public having information that they shouldn't have access to, and it doesn't even occur to you to ask. Hey?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
The president at some pain to explain his association, or shall we say non-association, with Hangwani Maumela. This is the man, of course, who had those raids at his house by the SIU just last week. Those 3 Lamborghinis, properties seized, all sorts of assets, including the liquor. Did you see the pictures of the expensive liquor that was seized from this home? Am I a Philistine here? Muteo, you guide me. You might know a thing or two about these things. Am I a Philistine? I just think when it comes to these expensive, and it could be whiskey, it could even be wine. I very clearly understand the difference between cheap alcohol, cheap liquor, right? The stuff that'll give you a headache from just smelling it. I get that. But isn't there a certain level beyond which, unless you are a true aficionado, and I mean like 0.99% of the population, if you give me a Johnny Green or a Johnny Black, or maybe a Johnny Green and a Johnny Blue, I won't know the difference.
You won't know the difference?
No. I might pick up a Johnny Red.
Okay.
But after green,
doesn't matter anymore. But when
maybe
it comes
because
to wine,
I've never actually tasted a blue.
When it comes to wine,
I've never tasted a blue. I've just figured that out. But in my head, I'm thinking.
But let's talk about something you like, wine.
Again, and I say this because there are obviously very expensive wines, and there are some really good, affordable wines. But there are bad wines that are cheap. I know that. But there's a certain level where it's just, you can tell it's good wine, but I don't always understand why, there's a difference between an 800 Rand bottle and a 300 Rand bottle.
I think true aficionados will tell you about the taste, the origin.
Hence, I say 0.999% of the population.
They will never really tell you about the price. Someone who tells you about the price is very showy. They want you to know that they've got the money.
But that's my point. Why is there such a price variance when the vast majority of us can't even tell? What I'm then suggesting is that there are many people who buy precisely for the price and not because they're aficionados. That's exactly the point I'm making.
We live in a world where there is a market for rarity.
I wouldn't have a Johnny Blue because I don't know the difference between a blue and a green.
You are not the target market.
Even if I had the money, which I don't.
You are not the target market.
But many of the people who are insisting on blue are probably not the target market, at least in terms of their palates. Tell me I'm wrong.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Good morning, Bongani and team. On the topic of twins, my mom is a twin sister. They're not identical, and their personalities are so different. My mom is quite reserved but very strict, and her twin sister is the chilled one, the socialite. We will have like family events and she will invite all her friends, people from church, and my mom will have like maybe 2-3 people. So yeah, sometimes my mom gets incredibly overwhelmed on their birthday because like my mom's twin wants to celebrate and have this big thing happening, and my mom is just not about that. So yeah, very interesting that they are so different and they are twins, but love them both. Bonolo from Krugersdorp.
Hi Bongani. With the twins, I have twin boys and they're now teenagers, and they are different in every way. The one is tall, the other one is short, the other one is dark skinned, the other one is light skinned, sweet tooth, and the other one is savory tooth. Like in every way, their skin, dry skin, oily skin. They are different in every way, but they also look different. They are non-identical. Yeah.
Family, I've got twin boys that are 13 years old, and they are identical. They look very similar. The only outstanding things are a couple of birthmarks that are different, but otherwise their personalities change a lot. They sometimes swap personalities, which is very interesting, but their personalities are very different. One is a lot more kinder and softer and gentler, and the other one is got a lot of self-confidence and is ready to take on the world. And they sort of complement each other, but they can't live without each other. They are completely connected to each other, which is really special too. Thank you. Just my input.
Love it, love it, love it. You'd not be keen to hear from a parent who has at times struggled to tell the difference between their twins. Come on, you can confess. I won't tell anybody. I promise. Let's go to Simon in Alberton. You're a retired police officer, what my producers tell me. What do you want to say about rejigging SAPS? Good morning.
Morning, Bongani. Actually, I'm saying you are asking $1 billion question. Bongani, at the moment, what you are asking is a nightmare. It cannot happen. It cannot happen. It will happen, but it will take years, Bongani. You can look, Bongani. Let's start from the discipline. Let's start there. What we must start off discipline. How do we discipline police? Then we can start now saying how do we design police? Because currently not disciplined, Bongani. Forget.
Not a very promising response. I think a lot of South Africans will share your sentiment, Simon, because at some point, what does professionalism mean if we are doing a serious job trying to keep the country safe and we are blocking each other? Have you ever blocked a colleague? More phoning. I don't understand.
That sounds
it.
silly, but there is a thing called professional jealousy. And it's all...
No, Muteo, imagine you and I blocking each other.
Yeah, because you don't get
along. And
along.
you proudly say, "Kimu blocking."
Blocking.
But we have a job to do.
Yeah,
and
let's do the job.
We sometimes have to do it together. No? You'd block me. Muteo.
Depends.
Block.
Make it hard for Amu.
Wow. Friends like this.
Hi, good morning, Bongani, Nora in Heidelberg. Great show. All right, we hear the president that he divorced the wife about the ex-wife 43 years ago, but they have children. So do the families don't get together? I mean, the kids and the ex-wife is her kids. So on those get-togethers, are the cousins and everyone not there? It just doesn't make sense. Surely they do get together because he has kids with this woman.
What a coincidence, Bongane. President's fairy tales and stories. What a coincidence. To me, if there was nothing there, there's no need for explanation. If it was me, I was going to just tell them that there's nothing there on those pictures. Finish and clear. The fairy tale, you can tell that there's a lot that is in there. Case in case.
Bongani. So yeah, I honestly think that the fact that he doesn't know his neighbors and all of that, intelligence would have surveyed the area, and said or told him this one stays there, because you can't tell me you didn't know an example that your next door neighbor is a big drug kingpin. So intelligence would have known who the president's neighbors were and who lives down the street. They would have surveyed the area.
Bongos and 702 Landers. South Africa, it's a movie. I'm just thinking, if it was really true, they knew each other, apart from the joke. Do you think he'll come here and say that? Let's just face it, guys. The timing is not right. If it was me, I wouldn't say I know the person. I'll also just say something like that along those lines. I'm not saying the elderly is lying. I'm just saying, Thanks for a great show, guys. Shadi, Kempton Park.
All right, Shadi, let's go back. Remember where this comes from. This isn't just a random denial. He was asked, and I think it was in Parliament, and so that's why this matters. He was asked by John Steenhuisen in 2022 if he knows this character. This was before the rest of us had insight into who this person was and how they were linked to all of these new things that have come out in recent times. And so in 2022, he was asked in Parliament, do you know this person? And he said he didn't. And of course, now what has happened is these videos have emerged and people are saying, hang on, Mr. President, you said you don't know this person, but there you are, jogging outside the man's house, standing out. There's a woman in a gown. You even go greet them. Hey, monks, what's going on there? And that's what has brought us to these explanations. Mutero, you want to add something?
Yeah, man, the caller was saying that the president should know who their neighbor is. And I'm sure the security detail do know. But I would be worried if the president was like, yeah, I know my next door neighbor is this and this. We've looked into them. They have 2 children. I mean,
investigate the neighbors.
The privacy of it. I mean, I know you're the president, but I can't have a brick brother is watching situation just because you're next to me.
But he probably does know, though.
He does, but I'd be worried if he comes out to the public and
says
said,
it.
You know, next door is Smith. Pablo calls. No, I'd be very worried about that.
But he does.
He does know, of course.
I mean, come now. Right? Part of their security assessment, I would imagine, is they would have to go and check, all right, where would there be any possible threat in the president's neighborhood?
Who's doing what?
Yeah.
For a living.
He knows.
EWN Traffic.
All right, coming up, do you want to be the next winner of 5 tickets to the South African Future Trust Summit happening at the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November? Why don't you WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702. Tell us how you might benefit from attending the summit, and who knows, you could win 5 tickets. I want really compelling stories now. I want to know what business you're into. I want to know what entrepreneurship goal you have, and obviously who you're taking with you. Who else in your circle, in your network, in your business do you want to be equally inspired? Come up with an original story, and who knows, you could win. Amo, let's talk traffic.
Well, Bongani, we've got roadworks on the N1 South from the city of Tshwane. This is causing delays between the Proof Plus interchange and Linwood Road. And then the roadworks continue again just as you exit the Flying Saucer interchange towards Water Avenue. So please be on the lookout and be patient along these routes. If you want to avoid these roadworks, please try to use the N14 South towards the Braakfontein interchange. While traveling on the M1 North, we still have got those delays between Boysons and Car Street. Peak time pressure there. I'll have more reports coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 200-gram Baker's Blue Label Mori biscuits assorted. Buy any 2 for 30 Rand. Save 14 Rand with Spar Rewards. Or 700-gram Spar pre-packed cheese assorted for 99.99. Save 33 Rand with Spar Rewards. Price is valid 8 to 20 October 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Feel the rhythm of summer at the Old Mutual Music in the Gardens, featuring Mikasa and Jazeel Brothers, live on Saturday, 25 October at the Walter Sisulu Botanical Garden. Experience soulful sounds, sunshine, and good vibes in one of Joburg's most beautiful settings. Get your tickets now at webtickets.co.za. Proudly presented by Old Mutual, 702 and Breakout Events.
702, The World View.
With Adam Gilchrist.
Let's catch up with news from elsewhere in the world. A very good morning to you, Adam. Let's start with, the peace is on, has been inked, but lots of problems in Gaza and Israel.
We didn't think it was going to be plain sailing, did we? And here we go. 2 days on, after all the euphoria, there are issues plenty. So starting with the release of the bodies of the dead hostages. Well, 4 more were released last night. So that's 8 out of the 28 that we know about. And it is thought that the opening of the Rafah border crossing is dependent on the release of those bodies. It hasn't opened yet. Maybe it will today. That was meant to be the day. But this is crucial for the aid to get into Gaza, and there are plenty of humanitarian workers and charities saying it needs to happen now. It has to, every hour that goes by is a ticking clock for people whose lives are at risk. Hamas giving up its weapons. Now we've had another ultimatum from Donald Trump, who says that if Hamas doesn't disarm, then he will ensure they are forcibly disarmed, possibly. Think really American troops go into Gaza to disarm Hamas? Can't see it. But yeah, lest we thought it was all going to be very simple, 2 days on, there are some stumbling blocks.
There's so much of Donald Trump that we didn't see coming and has kept on coming, Adam. You just never know. Now, Venezuela's embassy closed in Oslo for quote-unquote unexplained reasons. It would have nothing to do with that Nobel Prize, would it?
Well, exactly. It was speculated that if Donald Trump didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, then he would close the American embassy in Oslo. It turned out to be complete nonsense. It's all fine. But Venezuela has closed its embassy in Oslo 3 days after the Nobel Peace Prize was given to Maria Corina Machado, who happens to be an opposition leader in Venezuela. The Venezuelan government has not commented, but the Nobel Committee in Oslo awarded her in recognition of what they called her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela, which has got probably under the skin of the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro, who's previously referred to her as a demonic witch. Two sides of the same coin. I mean, who knew that Nobel Peace Prizes could be so political? Oh, hang on, Henry Kissinger. Oh, yeah.
A demonic witch. I'm still stuck on that one, Adam. Let's talk about food drones in Ireland.
I guess this is the future now sort of thing, because you've been trialing drone deliveries. We have here in the UK, but Ireland seems to have got in ahead. And a lot of the trials have been of whether medical supplies could be whizzed around and about the place, which is obviously a good thing. But the idea of food deliveries. So a company called Mana Aero has been testing 23-kilo quadcopters, as they call them. So quite light drones, but they can still carry a fair bit of food. And they've been testing them in Dublin and also Espoo in Finland and Texas. And they are now set for expansion through next year. And what they have is an autonomous drone which zips about at a cruising altitude of 80 meters. The operator, through a camera, spots the landing zone, your back garden or your front doorstep or whatever. A biodegradable string lowers the food down, and then snip, you've got your food. So far, the trials have included pizzas, burgers, chips, eggs in particular, like people are testing the system. And coffee is the most popular. Yeah, apparently we can't even stumble out to one of our gazillion coffee shops anymore. We actually have to have the stuff delivered. It's the way of the world. It's where we're heading, and we might have our doubts, but it's happening.
The future is here. Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
28 after 8, our final business update for the morning. ShopRite's Food Security Index, Muteo, painting a grim picture of our food security, and they should know.
Yeah, ShopRite's latest food security indexes are pointing to deep challenges in food affordability and access in the country. The retailer says it's seen high rates of malnutrition in the country. Its index shows that 21% of children under the age of 5 years old are undernourished. The retailer warns that this issue is at its worst point in over 10 years. ShopRite says consumers are under pressure due to subdued economic growth and higher unemployment. The index says consumer sentiment fell to minus 13 in the third quarter, driven by a sharp decline among middle-income households are grappling with the higher cost of living and weaker job prospects. Nearly 4,500 children under 5 years old died in South Africa in the past 5 years due to malnutrition.
Mining production down?
Yeah, local mining production dropped surprisingly by 0.2% in August. The drop was led by decreases in platinum group metals, manganese ore and gold. PGMs fell by 3%. Manganese ore was down 3.4%, with gold also dropping by 3.6%. There was some growth, though, for diamond production, other metallic minerals, as well as coal.
Your indicators.
Rand at 17 Rand 31 against the US dollar, stronger this morning, 20 Rand 12 cents against the euro and 23 Rand 13 cents against the British pound. Price of gold up more than 1% at $4,186 an ounce, while platinum is up close to 0.5% at $1,649. Brent crude at $62.24 a barrel. Stephen Grotes with more this afternoon.
Right, let's go straight to the news desk. Of course, don't forget it's a Wednesday, another corporate that cares, and those 5 tickets to that summit. In the meantime, what do you have, Sfisa Zulu?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. With just 4 weeks to go before the start of an inquiry into alleged interference in prosecuting truth and reconciliation cases, it's now hit a snag. None of the people implicated in allegations of attempts and efforts to stop, interfere or collude with the NPA or SAPS have complied with the last Friday's deadline to provide the Commission with statements and information. It's led to the inquiry chairperson, Judge Sisi Gampepe, to issue the inquiry's first directive to force compliance. Lindsay Dentlinger takes a look.
Last month, the Commission sent letters to former presidents, ministers of justice and provincial prosecuting heads and police commissioners, among others, to provide information and to answer to the interference allegations. But despite the inquiry being promulgated in May, only one interested party made a submission. Former Presidents Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma, meanwhile, have asked for more time, as has former Justice Minister Bridget Mabandla. They were in charge when it was claimed the investigation and prosecution of TRC cases was blocked. Failure to comply with the Commission's first directive, issued yesterday to provide the requested information by the 24th of this month, could see consequences for implicated parties, while the Commission can also summons any person to produce documents in their possession. Despite the struggle for information and compliance, the Secretariat remains hopeful the inquiry will start as planned on the 10th of next month. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
Higher Education Minister Putima Namela is seeking a contingency plan to minimize learning disruptions at the University of the Free State. Students started protesting about 2 weeks ago after the institution announced that people with outstanding debt would not be able to register to study next year. The management says only academically qualifying students will be fully registered once their fees or funding have been confirmed. But the institution insists that this policy does not affect students funded by NSFAS. Some buildings were torched at the Kwakwa campus on Monday after protesting students blocked roads. The minister has condemned the violence. His spokesperson, Matsepo Sidat.
The gravity of the situation necessitates that the safety and security of all students, staff and property is prioritized. Minister Manamela remains in direct and ongoing contact with the Vice-Chancellor of the University of the Free State. A key focus for the minister is the preservation of the 2025 academic year.
Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis has refuted a statement made by President Cyril Ramaphosa that the city cannot claim to be the best-run metro when the standard of services in the townships remains poor. Ramaphosa was briefing the National Council of Provinces yesterday on national developments and service delivery matters. The president told the NCOP census data shows that Cape Town performed the worst between 2011 and 2022 in providing services to the city's disadvantaged communities. Hill-Lewis says the president was doing damage control after his comments about Cape Town and other towns governed by the DA being examples to be copied by other metros. Carlo Peterson reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa told the NCOP while the city of Cape Town tends to perform well with financial governance, it has not demonstrated significant progress in reducing the levels of inequality and is spending less in poorer communities than in affluent areas. Hill-Lewis hit back, saying Cape Town not only spends more on pro-poor infrastructure than any other metro, the city also has the highest levels of service delivery in the country.
The simple, irrefutable fact is that despite the enormous challenges of poverty and unemployment we face, Cape Town is steadily moving forward and is South Africa's most functional metro city, while every other city in the country is moving backwards.
Hill-Lewis says Cape Town will invest an estimated 3.4 billion rand in informal settlement upgrades over the next 3 years. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And at least 14 miners have died in floods caused by heavy rain in Venezuela. Disaster relief agencies and the military say they are working to recover the bodies from a gold mine in the eastern part of the country. The workers were underground when heavy rain fell on the region, which borders both Guyana and Brazil, flooding several mine shafts. Videos posted on social media show workers bringing up several muddied bodies from the mine. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated afternoon thundershowers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 32 and 34.
And in the traffic, we still have got that accident in Pennyville along the N1 North, right near Albertina Sisulu Road. It's causing heavy delays coming out of the Diepkloof interchange. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic in Harton due to an accident reported along Harton Drive after Castlegary Road, causing delays.
The top story: with just 4 weeks to go before the start of an inquiry into alleged interference in the prosecuting truth and reconciliation cases, it's now hit a snag.
Mr. Govender, congrats on the retirement. You just sold your car to We Buy Cars. Tell us about it.
Yes, it just gathered dust in the garage, so I exchanged it for cold hard cash. Now my wife and I can enjoy a stress-free retirement.
Retiring the car as you retire. Nice. So why We Buy Cars?
It was so quick. They came over to our house to do the evaluation, and we sold it the same day. Tops, man.
Okay, so now you got even more time on your hands, eh?
Exactly.
We Buy Cars. Geared for your next chapter. Geared for you.
With OUTsurance Business Insurance, you can protect your business and reward your cash flow. Switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance and you could get an out bonus of up to 10% of your paid premiums back. For law firms, real estate agencies, computer services and other industries, OUTsurance Business Insurance are trusted experts in insuring your business. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi. The president is taking us for a ride. How does somebody put up a house like that in your street and you're not even curious to see who's this new neighbor? What do they do? Where do they get all this money? President No, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. You would want to know who your neighbor is. What are they doing? How can they afford a house like that?
Yeah, maybe you don't know the neighborhood. Because all the houses in the neighborhood are kind of like that. And from what I think is publicly available information, he bought the house as it was. In fact, I think even with the furnishings, as from what I understand. And so by the time he moved into that house, I don't know if there would have been many questions to ask. I think by the time he moved into that house, in fact, Ramaphosa was already president of the Republic. I'm not sure if he gets a dossier on everybody who moves into the neighborhood and why they can afford those homes, but it's not out of place in that neck of the woods, you see.
Hi, Bongani, my brother. The president actually is supposed to know. Yeah, I know the guy. This is when I let the guy was saying that no, I don't know anything business. The guy simple. The guy is my nephew, blah 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 blah. So we don't know we do this. No, I don't know anything about that because I don't follow up. I don't follow up people's things. It's simple. I know the person. Yeah, I know the person. The person is my nephew. So when I'm in life, I'm not a big question anyone. Simple. Don't say now I don't know even the person. But we know the person, we're visiting the person.
Bungan, this is Zach here from Josie. Listen, we can't be busy fooling around with this so-called naivety that the president is giving us. There's been cases of his cadres, his comrades, be asking cousins of cousins of cousins to open business accounts so that they can all eat together in these tenders. We are not fools. We are not kids. Him acting nonchalant like he knows nothing is absolutely uncalled for. We do know if that's his distant in-laws, meaning that the kids and the kids and the kids of the kids are all together on this. We are not foolish. Mkwanazi says that he's got recordings and he's got WhatsApp group. He can be able to retrieve WhatsApps from all of their phones. Let that be done. Let that be opened. and then we'll find out the real truth.
Morning, Rabbi. I actually believe the president. I mean, like 43 years ago. Come on, guys. Now we're pushing it. Yes, the president might be lying about a whole lot of things, but sometimes it's siyahesha, man. We want to put two and two together, mara akuhlangani.
So, all right, I'll use myself as an example. What year is it now? 2025. I got divorced 15 years ago. If anybody reasonably expects that I might now be keeping up with my ex-sister or brother-in-law and how many kids they have had from 15 years ago or since 15 years ago, I think you're pushing it. Now, of course, when that side of the family gets together, my kids might interact with those cousins. But they don't come back and give me a detailed report and say, oh, guess who now has more children and these are their names and this is, do you know what I mean? He divorced this woman 43 years ago. 43 years ago. It is, of course, entirely possible the opposite may be true. All I'm saying is from the publicly available information, whilst, yes, our eyebrows will be raised, can we say with certainty that we don't believe him? It is not possible. His version is not possibly true. That's not the hill I'm going to die on.
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, I mean, it's just good news all round as far as South African football is concerned.
Yes, and you
the
know what?
Springboks have delivered. The
Yeah.
Proteas have delivered. We've been waiting for this one.
Yeah, and we've needed this for a while for Bafana. I mean, it's really, really great because they went through such a dip in form for the longest time. And finally, I mean, it's taken us 23 years or 24 years to finally be playing in a World Cup. It's going to be amazing, and we should support them and get behind them. And the fact that they've qualified is amazing. And they did so without needing a favor to go their way, etc., etc. I mean,
Permutations.
Safa was their own, problem there, but they did it.
Yeah.
They did it. They beat Rwanda 3-0 with goals from 3 Orlando Pirates players. There, I said it for
Thank you very much.
Bata, Polis, and Magopa.
I said that earlier, and one of the very dear friends of the show who listens said, Bafana belong to all who live in it.
Right.
That was funny.
Well, okay, so we were all Orlando Pirates supporters last night, and this morning we're back to neutral. So it'll be South Africa's 4th appearance at the World Cup. Coach Hugo Brosh, who was often heavily criticized for his team selection, believes his decisions are now justified.
I can talk and tell and shout and what I want. If those guys are not ready to do it, then everything stops. And this is the good work that we had between me and him and them and between them and me. We trust each other, we have confidence in each other. Then you get a game like today that from the first minute that everyone saw, they are going to win today.
Actually, on my Instagram, reposted a SuperSport graphic where they quote him saying in 2023, if we don't qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, you don't have to fire me, I will resign.
Well, he better stay.
He was so confident.
He better stay.
No, he's not going to.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has said straight after the World Cup he's retiring. I mean, he's 73 years old. He says he wants to spend time with his kids and his grandkids. Senegal beat Mauritania and Ivory Coast, beat Kenya to qualify, along with other African sides, Tunisia, Egypt and Algeria, as well as Cape Verde, Ghana and Morocco. England have also qualified after a 5-0 win over their beating Latvia. Portugal will have to wait after they were held 2-2 by Hungary. Ronaldo did score 2 goals, but then Szoboszlai snatched the equalizer in the 91st minute. Of course he did, because he's a Liverpool player, and this season all they've done is snatch victory at the death. Italy beat Israel 3-0 to stay on course to qualify. Live test cricket on the go. So the Proteas, they've come back a little. They're now 129 for 5. Remember, they were 55 for 4. They're now 129 for 5.
Who's in the middle? Is
They need
Rickleton still there?
Getting there.
Sorry.
Relax. They need a further 147 runs to win, because the target's 277. This morning in quick succession, they lost Dezorzi for 16, Stubbs for 2. In the middle is Rickleton on 43. But more importantly, the wicket that has just fallen is Brevis, and he made 54 off 54. So he
Wow.
really got
He
us
was part
back
of the
up and going.
acceleration. So the last time I think they played, the last series anyway, what's his name? Rickleton made 259 against Pakistan.
Well, let's hope he just
But
keeps
it wasn't
us cool.
in Pakistan.
It wasn't at Lahore. So the Proteas were the World Test champions, are on a 10-match winning streak. So let's
see what
keep
happens.
let's keep our fingers
Yeah.
crossed. 130 for 5 is the score there, needing a further 147 for victory.
Imagine if Rickleton gets that 100.
It'll be beautiful. We can dream. I mean,
We
Bafana
can.
made it to the World Cup,
Right.
so we can believe in anything now.
There we go.
At the Women's World Cricket World Cup today, England plays Pakistan. Last night, Sri Lanka and New Zealand's game was rained out. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again, in, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Introducing South Africa's most affordable way to get hearing aids. At Specsavers Audiology, you can now get a pair of hearing aids from as little as 599 Rand per month. Hearing clearly shouldn't be a luxury. Enjoy life's moments from 599 Rand per month. Test your hearing today and join the conversation with Specsavers Audiology. T's and C's apply.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, FNB Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any FNB Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with FNB Premier. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
EWN Traffic.
All right, let's wrap up the morning's traffic. It's been another busy morning, Amo.
A very hectic one, Bongani. In fact, if you're leaving El Dorado Park right now, you will be glad to know that the delays on the N1 North have cleared, but we still have got some delays on the Golden Highway towards Meadale. While traveling on the N1 North towards the Roriport area, we've got a major accident scene right near Albertina Sisulu Road. It's causing delays coming out of the Soweto Highway. There's also an accident scene in Halton along Halton Drive. It's right near Castle Gowrie Road, causing delays. Please try to avoid this one if you're heading towards Parktown or even Melrose. Maybe use the Mike 1 North. And then if you're traveling on the N3 North, roadworks taking place right near the Baku interchange. Delays from Vincent Chabalala Road. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Are you ready to be inspired and grow your business? The South African Future Trust Summits, in partnership with Standard Bank and 702, returns to the Sandton Convention Centre on 5 and 6 November. Gain insights from international and local speakers. Connect with entrepreneurs and investors and come and pitch your business idea or come and buy a business in a box. Tickets are limited and selling fast. Grab yours now at summit.southafricanfuturetrust.org.
Spin for the win in the thrilling Hollywood Bets Spinner Zonke Jackpot Race. Stand a chance to win a share of 3 million Rand in cash. Feel the rush of fiery fortunes every Wednesday, Friday and Saturday between 8:30 and 10:30 p.m. when you bet 2 Rand or more on selected habanero slots. Spinner for your shot at big wins. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil. It's a global moment of solidarity, equality, and sustainability. Africa's at the center. So tune in on Friday for the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702. And it's brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
Coming up,
up on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Good morning to you, Clement. What's on the show today?
Good morning. Coming up, we start with the 702 open line. We'll be reflecting on Bafana and Shadrach Sibia's testimony. It's now wrapped up. Senzo Mkhunu takes the hot seat tomorrow. But between 10 and 11 o'clock, we're in conversation with Dr. Petiwe Matutu, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Universities South Africa. We're focusing on the state of universities. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll do our Listener's Choice feature. Today, one of our listeners has asked that we bring in an expert who can advise on the best AI tools to use and for what. So that's going to be the focus on our Listener's Choice feature.
Clement Manyatela between 9 and 12.
It won't just be minds in a room. It will be futures in the making. Are you ready to claim yours? The South African Future Trust Summit on 702. Your summit, your way.
We've asked you for a chance, of course, to win tickets to that South African Future Trust Summit. We've got Emmanuel on the line. Emmanuel, tell us why you deserve to be at the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November.
Thank you, Bongani. The reason why I think I should be at the conference is I believe the conference aligns very well with the platform that we are building, which is called the FinFeed. So a FinFeed is a financial platform that we are building where we're focusing on helping the unbanked or blacklisted South Africans to assist them with building their credit score and also building their financial investment score to do credit rehabilitation.
That sounds amazing. Emmanuel, say less. Say less. You've thought it through. I get it. I see it. 5 tickets are coming your way to enjoy the South African Future Trust Summit happening at the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November. It's all thanks to the South African Future Trust Summit at 702.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Sounding like a broken record because I say this is my favorite time of the week and I say this every Wednesday. Another corporate that cares. And I'm so pleased to tell you that today we've got Derek Lubna, who is the founder and chairman of Izinga Assist, who's talking to us, of course, from our Cape Talk studios in Cape Town. The founder and chairman of Izinga Assist is joining us to talk about why they are a corporate that cares. A very good morning to you, Derek, and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Morning, Bongani. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Tell me about why you are a corporate that cares.
Yeah, so we have identified the need for NPOs, NGOs, non-profit organizations in South Africa, of which there are approximately 300,000, which is a crazy number, to be verified and rated so that donors can give them money with confidence. A big problem in the sector is that donors are scared to scared to give money because they're not sure where the money's going to end up. Excuse me. And so we've created a platform where NPOs are verified and rated by uploading a bunch of documents, which they have to do by law anyway. And so that once they're verified, they're in our ecosystem, and we provide a whole bunch of assistance to them, which will roll out over time. And then donors, we're attacking donors in the UK, expat South Africans who want to give money to South African NGOs but are scared to do so.
And you're doing this through some digital verification system.
Correct, exactly. We've created the platform. It's taken 5 years, and we launched last night, and so it's all ready to rock and roll. You can go on and register and get going. We already have 171 NPOs on our platform, and we've beta tested it over this period of time so that everything is working, and holding thumbs it carries on doing so.
And just talk to us about how often people can even set up supposed NPOs as a vehicle to do dodgy dealings, and how prevalent that kind of thing is.
I think it's very prevalent, and unfortunately there's a whole bunch of negative perception about NGOs. There are fantastic NGOs in this country doing incredible work. The NGO sector in South Africa is the lifeblood of the country. It's by far the largest employer in the country, and we want to make sure that the ones that are sustainable, that are fundable, are rated and verified by us so that donors can give them money with confidence. The problem is that the usual story of one bad apple spoils the bunch. and the perception is that NGOs are not great, and they're stealing money and they're corrupt and all that kind of stuff. We say the opposite. We say that the NGO sector in South Africa is thriving and needs to thrive, because otherwise you've got real problems in this country.
I also imagine that a lot of people who have really golden hearts, you might say, who want to solve a particular problem, but they may not have the wherewithal, either in terms of information or skills, to actually run an entity, even though they want to solve a problem. So maybe some of them are not corrupt, they just don't have the information to run this kind of thing. How does your tool help in that situation?
That's absolutely correct. So we are trying to get to a situation where NPOs are absolutely focused on what they're doing, whether they're saving children, whether they're saving rhinos, whether they're helping whatever, the entire range of what NPOs do. And so we are providing a whole bunch of assistance on the site, so you'll be able to download templates to help you do contracts, to do marketing, to do communication. The big issue is that NPOs start, most NPOs start with the best of intentions, and there are people that have their heart is full of gold and they want to do good, but they're not skilled in business, they're not skilled in marketing, in finance, in legal stuff. I mean, why should they be? So they tend to make the same mistakes over and over again, which then upsets donors because they don't get communicated properly. They're not told that their money's been spent in the right way, all that kind of stuff, which then turns off donors. So we're trying to address that problem, and we've set up this portal to enable that to happen.
You've also collaborated with McRobert attorneys, and I would imagine that also will help in terms of the compliance tick boxes that they may need to go through.
Exactly. McRobert attorneys have been fantastic, and they do all the verification and reviewing of documents, and they will help you help NGOs get their documents in place. They provide a free pro bono service to do that. So, and also I must mention ShopRite, who have come on board as well, who are going to set up bank accounts for the NGOs and provide a voucher account so that donors can give money or a voucher, which then gets redeemed at any one of their ShopRite stores all over the country. So I just want to give a huge shout out to those two companies and to Prime Media, who have provided a huge amount of this interview and just the help in general. It's been unbelievably heartwarming and satisfying.
Listen, this is an amazing initiative and one that's quite close to my heart. Perhaps off air, you and I can discuss more about why that matters to me. But for anybody who's listening to us now who may not have heard of Izinga Assist, perhaps let's give you a plug and a shout out and tell us about what other work you do.
Yeah, so I've been a board member of an NGO based in Cape Town called Mothers to Mothers for the last 20 coming up for 25 years. And I've run my late parents' foundation called Make an Immediate Difference. So I've been in the NGO sector for a long time, both as a donor and as a sort of recipient on boards and that kind of thing. And it just, absolutely, it's just, what's so frustrating living in the UK is the stories coming out of South Africa are always negative, and they always are, about corruption, about the bad stuff that's happening. We all know what that is. We are solutions-based people. We're not interested in the problems. We're interested in the solutions, and one of the solutions is to provide donors a way to give money to NGOs in South Africa with confidence. That's basically what we're trying to do.
I think this is absolutely fantastic, and it's going to make a difference not only in terms of making sure that NGOs do what they're supposed to and giving donors peace of mind, but I think the ultimate aim of really making a difference to countless lives in this country is going to be achieved. Derek Lubnat, thank you so much for your time. Thanks. The founder and chairman of Izinga Assist, another corporate that cares.
Change arrives kicking and screaming. It's challenging, impatient, confusing. Change is a moment of peace. Change is life affirming. Change is growth. Change is opportunity. We've always believed it's worth investing in. For over 3 decades, we have been committed to seeking out the best investment opportunities for you, wherever they may be. 91. Investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
You might not always notice us, but your safety is our priority. From the moment you step out of your home, drop your child at school, or arrive at work, when you trust someone to cut a new set of keys or attend a packed stadium event, from VIP protection to safeguarding goods and property, your security matters to us. Choose wisely. Choose right. Only use CIRA accredited security service providers. CIRA, safer homes, safer businesses, safer communities.
702 and corporates that care with Investec are talking about Investec's flagship education initiative, ProMaths, in partnership with Kutlwanong Maths, Science and Technology Center.
It started 20 years ago in Dobsonville on a pilot program with 105 pupils. Fast forward to 2025, 28,000 learners have been through the program, and we believe that the impact that this has had has been something beyond numbers, something beyond science. It's about people, purpose and hope. And I think the ability to partner with Kutlwanong to look at how you could build something that could be replicated. So starting with one school in Dobson 20 years ago, now having 19 of these centers operating across South Africa, 10 which are sponsored by Investec and 9 by other sponsors.
Visit mywalk.org.za to learn more. Investec, out of the ordinary. On 702, let's walk the talk.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of 702 Breakfast. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. 3 people have been killed in the latest shooting in Cape Town. The men were found in a car shortly before midnight in Hout Bay. The police's Andre Trout says the victims sustained gunshot wounds.
Police have launched an investigation following the discovery of 3 unidentified men.
The police's Andre Trout says the victims sustained gunshot wounds.
Police have launched an investigation following the discovery of 3 unidentified men shot dead in a silver Hyundai i20 at Olomisa Square in Imizamwe, Yetu, Hout Bay, late last night. The motive for the triple murder is still unknown, but extortion is being investigated as a possible factor.
A new presiding officer in the Pretoria Magistrates Court will hear submissions by crime intelligence boss Dumsani Kumalo and 2 of his co-accused this morning in a bid to have their bail conditions relaxed. The trio wants the conditions amended for them to return to work. They've been implicated in a fraud and corruption scandal related to the appointment of Dineo Mukwele into a specialized position within crime intelligence.